The first sequence this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 326. Look at this pot, it's big and round. What do you have to sell? Ren Xiaosu asked. Didn't they say that Barrier 178 is desolate? It is desolate near us, Su Xianchu explained, but many things cannot be said now, they are secrets. When it comes to secrets, Ren Xiaosu feels that this secret may be of great importance, otherwise Su Xianchu would not be so serious. Oh, is the Northwest safe? Ren Xiaosu asked. Sometimes it is safe, sometimes it is not, Su Xianchu smiled and said, it depends on the situation, but recently the North, forget it, I can't say this either. Okay, Ren Xiaosu always felt that Barrier 178 was guarding a secret, and this secret was also related to Zhang Jinglin's departure from Barrier 178. However, what exactly made Zhang Jinglin feel that there was no point in staying at Barrier 178? At that time, Zhang Jinglin once said to Yan Liwen that war could not save mankind. What is the meaning behind this sentence? But this had nothing to do with Ren Xiaosu. He looked at Su Xianchu. Have you heard anything? Su Xianchu was stunned for a moment. What did you hear? Haha, Ren Xiaosu laughed. Nothing, nothing. Then Su Xianchu suddenly said, by the way, I'll tell you something important. My original ability was to summon a shadow, did you know that? Yeah, Ren Xiaosu nodded, I know. Now my shadow has a pot. Su Xianchu said excitedly, this pot is so strong that it can even block RPGs. As he said that, Su Xianchu suddenly summoned his own shadow, only to see that the shadow was standing quietly in the yard, and behind it was a huge black iron pot floating. The pot was so big that it could even cover the whole person. Ren Xiaosu stared at the black pot in a daze. Fuck. Su Xianchu was very excited. Don't underestimate this black pot, let me tell you, this pot can block bullets, can be used to shoot people, it is extremely powerful, has many uses, and can even be used to cook. When I led the team into the Gobi Desert, the troops didn't have to bring marching pots. How convenient. Yeah, convenient. Ren Xiaosu said. At this time, Ren Xiaosu suddenly felt that this pot looked very familiar. It was just an enlarged version of the black iron pot he used to catch sparrows. Wait, Ren Xiaosu looked carefully, and he felt unwell, because he saw a small gap next to Su Xianchu's pot. His original iron pot also had such a small gap, which he accidentally knocked out, but it didn't matter. You know, this is the power of the shadow, how could there be a gap? Ren Xiaosu's expression became more and more strange, while Su Xianchu was still showing off. Maybe it's because my ability is getting stronger and stronger now. This pot is also slowly getting bigger. I don't know how big it will be in the future. If it can block artillery shells, it will be even more powerful. Ren Xiaosu said with mixed feelings and guilty conscience. Well, it will get bigger and bigger. At this time, Ren Xiaosu had already realized that Su Xianchu's black pot was likely to have suddenly appeared after he passed the blame on to Su Xianchu, and it became bigger and bigger as he passed the blame on to Su Xianchu. Although he didn't know why, since Su Xianchu wanted the pot to get bigger and bigger, as a friend, he naturally had to help Su Xianchu fulfill this wish. But why is this? Ren Xiaosu couldn't figure it out at all. It turned out that he let Su Xianchu take the blame, and Su Xianchu materialized a black pot? What's the principle? It's not scientific at all. Luo Lan on the side suddenly said, by the way, Lao Su, thank you. At this time, Luo Lan was lying on the wall and was about to say something, but Ren Xiaosu suddenly yelled, can't you go back to sleep quickly? We are just chatting among friends, can you stop mentioning your Qing family? Did we say that they have no intention of forming an alliance with the Yang family? Luo Lan retracted his head while cursing, and the soldiers who were responsible for carrying him below wailed under the heavy burden. Ren Xiaosu was relieved to see Luo Lan leave. He was really a little worried that Luo Lan would suddenly mention the life-saving grace at the 109th barrier. If he mentioned this, Su Xianchu would understand everything. Su Xianchu looked confused. Why should he thank me? Ren Xiaosu laughed cheerfully. Maybe he wants to thank you for not forming an alliance with the Yang family. Don't worry about these details. Well, okay, Su Xianchu suddenly whispered. Xiaosu, Why don't you come with me to the 178th barrier? The people there are really nice. I've been to the barrier, so I know very well that the people in the 178th barrier are different. Ren Xiaosu thought for a while and asked, how many people can you bring? How many people do you have? Su Xianchu asked. 30 people, Ren Xiaosu said. I can't make the decision on this yet. Su Xianchu frowned and said, it's mainly necessary to negotiate with the Yang family. How about this? I'll go back to the 178th barrier next week and talk to Commander Zhang about this. Ren Xiaosu thought seriously and said, okay. However, after tonight, Yang Yuan realized the importance of Ren Xiaosu, and he probably wouldn't let him go so easily. However, Ren Xiaosu now has two plans. One is to follow Qing Zhen when he rescues Luolan, and the other is to rely on Su Xianchu and Zhang Jinglan to successfully negotiate with the Yang family. No matter which one succeeds, he will seize the opportunity. There is only one thing that makes Ren Xiaosu hesitate, but it doesn't matter, he still has time. Su Xianchu's arrival seems to have added some small episodes to Ren Xiaosu's life, and also added a possibility to his future. However, Su Xianchu did not stay in the 88th barrier for too long. After he agreed with the Yang family and the Zhuang family to eliminate the banditry, he immediately set off to report back. Someone found an opportunity to ask him about his relationship with Ren Xiaosu, but Su Xianchu only said that Ren Xiaosu had done him a favor and that Ren Xiaosu had introduced him to the 178th barrier. Many people were confused. Who is Ren Xiaosu and how could he arrange for someone to go to the 178th barrier? You know, it was difficult for someone in this barrier to arrange a job for his relatives, but Ren Xiaosu directly arranged for someone to become an officer across the barrier? However, Su Xianchu did not tell us the specific details, so everyone did not know what the truth was. After Su Xianchu left, Ren Xiaosu's life returned to a dull routine. The day when he and Yang Xiaojun went out to suppress bandits had not yet arrived, and he was happy to read books and practice fighting every day. The only surprise was that the woman named Zhou Yingsu appeared again after disappearing for a week. And this time, the other party seemed to be determined to fight to the death with Ren Xiaosu. Whenever Ren Xiaosu went to the library, she would go. Ren Xiaosu guessed that Yang Yuan might have arranged for her to approach him again to get some useful information. Chapter 327 New Rules. When Zhou Yingsu appeared again this time, she did not deliberately say anything to Ren Xiaosu. She would change into different styles of skirts every day, even in winter, and then put on delicate makeup, sitting alone in the corner of the library flipping through books. She would not even look at anyone passing by, even if it was Ren Xiaosu. In the afternoon, when there were a little more people in the library, there would even be teenagers who would chat with her, but she always refused them with gentle words. As time went by, she seemed to really come to read books, like a quiet beauty, becoming a unique scenery in the library. Ren Xiaosu thought that if the other party really lived in peace and quiet, it would not matter. After all, he did not do anything illegal in this library, and he was not afraid of being monitored. Although he hired an Yuqian to give Wang Yuqi and others extra lessons, which was a little bit out of line, the problem was that there was nothing wrong with the content of the extra lessons. At most, when everyone discussed how to design the outer armor, they should be careful. So, Ren Xiaosu simply ignored Zhou Yingsu. However, Ren Xiaosu suddenly discovered that an Yuqian was always distracted by peeking at Zhou Yingsu, especially today, when Zhou Yingsu took off her coat after entering the library, revealing the slim-fitting cheongsam underneath. The hem of the cheongsam was so slit up to her waist, and when Zhou Yingsu sat there quietly, an Yuqian's eyes widened. Ren Xiaosu was helpless, thinking that Zhou Yingsu might be a supernatural being, and she was not afraid of the cold. At this time, Wang Yuqi asked, "Teacher, this question." And Yuqian came back to his senses. This question is so easy. No, I said this question is so long, but it's not. Ren Xiaosu looked at an Yuqian calmly. I said, can you pay attention in class? We paid for it. And Yuqian was also a little embarrassed. Don't you think she looks very elegant sitting there quietly? Ren Xiaosu sighed. He went to the bookshelf to find 3 books and walked towards Zhou Yingsu. And Yuqian felt that Ren Xiaosu is still brave, and he went to talk to her without saying a word. Zhou Yingsu seemed to have not seen Ren Xiaosu. She only looked up when Ren Xiaosu walked up to her. Hello, what's up? Ren Xiaosu placed the Lord spare my life in front of Zhou Yingsu, I think this set of books is quite interesting. Take a look. Then Ren Xiaosu went back to sit and continue to study, while Zhou Yingxi flipped through the book in front of her, wanting to see what kind of books Ren Xiaosu liked. As a result, during the afternoon class, Zhou Yingxi laughed so hard in the corner that she couldn't straighten her waist and her face was numb from laughing. The quiet lady image she had created with great difficulty before was completely destroyed. Zhou Yingxi did nothing this afternoon, just laughed foolishly, laughing like a psychopath. Ren Xiaosu looked at An Yuqian. Do you still have the temperament now? An Yuqian took a deep breath. No. Then just focus on teaching, Ren Xiaosu said. But to Ren Xiaosu's surprise, Zhou Yingxi began to pester him from then on. She would ask him every day what books were good, and from time to time she would come to him to exchange her views on that book. Ren Xiaosu thought that this person was really someone who was good at getting close to others, a player who could climb up with just a stick. However, Ren Xiaosu's refusal was not so obvious. He introduced some very boring books to Zhou Yingxi every day. As a result, Ren Xiaosu found that she would finish reading them even if she was afraid, and then come to him to exchange her thoughts. In fact, if conditions were available, Ren Xiaosu could completely introduce a very advanced mathematics book to Zhou Yingxi, so that Zhou Yingxi would probably not understand it even if she was afraid. But isn't this because there are no conditions? Ren Xiaosu's mathematics might not be as good as Zhou Yingxi's. This is because his knowledge level limits his means. An Yuqian came to Ren Xiaosu and suddenly said, "Brother, I can see that this girl named Zhou Yingxi likes you." Ren Xiaosu chuckled twice. Like? This is a spy. Even if he had never seen Zhou Yingxi among the stalkers, Ren Xiaosu could feel that something was wrong with the other party based on his intuition in the wilderness. If someone is too attentive for no reason, he is either a traitor or a thief. Zhou Yingxi thought that a boy of Ren Xiaosu's age would be easily tempted by beauty. What kind of world has a 17 or 18-year-old boy seen? Scammers who set up honey traps like boys of this age the most. Zhou Yingxi was right. If it were Wang Yuqi and the others, they might have been fooled, but Ren Xiaosu was different. In the evening, Ren Xiaosu said goodbye to Wang Yuqi and the others. He asked Wang Yuqi and the others to go home first, while he would continue to learn martial arts from Liu Yuan. As a result, when he left the library, he saw Zhou Yingxi standing at the door. Ren Xiaosu pretended not to see her and walked out. Zhou Yingxi stopped him. "Are you free? I have something to tell you." "No time," Ren Xiaosu said. Suddenly, the palace spoke. "Mission, help the woman who asked for help." This mission came so suddenly that Ren Xiaosu was completely unprepared. "Now I'm free again, how can I help you?" Zhou Yingxi was stunned for 2 seconds, but she quickly adjusted her mood and smiled. "Today is my birthday, but I don't have any relatives in the barrier anymore. Can you accompany me tonight?" Ren Xiaosu had a toothache. "How?" "Come to my house, let's play some games," Zhou Yingxi said with a chuckle. "What games?" Ren Xiaosu was already thinking of giving up this mission. "Games that can't be played by one person." Zhou Yingxi blinked and looked at Ren Xiaosu. "What is a game that can't be played by one person?" Exclamation mark. Ren Xiaosu pondered. "Skipping rubber bands? I'm really good at it." "Zhou Yingxi," she said, "2 people can't play skipping rubber bands." Then An Yuqian came out of the library, and when he saw that the door was about to be locked, Ren Xiaosu said, "Look, everyone is here." Zhou Yingxi smiled awkwardly. "Forget it, I won't play anymore." Ren Xiaosu glanced at the tasks in the palace. "No, I have to play." "Zhou Yingxi, what kind of players are these?" Exclamation mark. Half an hour later, the palace said, "Task completed, reward for perfect level learning map." Ren Xiaosu was stunned. This sudden perfect level skill learning map almost made him fall into ecstasy. After all, this thing is too rare. Maybe a perfect level skill learning map will give him an extra new ability. Even if he doesn't learn extraordinary abilities, he can still learn the other party's master level skills. Ren Xiaosu suddenly asked, "What if I draw someone else's master level skill, but don't have the corresponding advanced skill?" "Void," the palace said coldly. "This is not fair," Ren Xiaosu yelled. A basic level card used together with a perfect level card allows you to learn complete master level skills without the need for related skills, the palace explained. Chapter 328 The Special Yanlin. When Ren Xiaosu was learning skills before, the skills were divided into 5 levels: elementary, intermediate, advanced, master, and perfect. Basic level skill learning maps can only be learned to the advanced level. Even if Yang Xiaojun's gun skill is perfect, Ren Xiaosu can only learn to the advanced level and cannot learn extraordinary abilities. If he wants to continue learning, he must use the perfect level map after his own gun skill reaches the advanced level. The perfect level map will randomly draw the opponent's master level skills and extraordinary abilities. If he draws Yang Xiaojun's perfect level gun skill but does not have the corresponding advanced gun skill, then this perfect level map will be wasted. So the perfect level skill map is risky, but now the palace has given a smoother choice. With a basic level map and a perfect level map, you can learn everything in one step. At this time, Ren Xiaosu must want to learn extraordinary abilities after getting the perfect level map through the task, so it is better to find someone with extraordinary abilities to use it. But he thought for a long time, and it seems that there is no one around to learn from. No, he can learn from Yan Liuyan. Although a selfish person like him doesn't need the skill of making wishes, the curse skill can be used on him, which can really be very useful. And Yan Liuyan doesn't seem to have other master level skills, so the palace will automatically determine that he has learned extraordinary abilities. Thinking of this, Ren Xiaosu ran home excitedly, and did not go to Lu Yuan's place. And Yuqian and Zhou Yingsu were left dumbfounded and at a loss. When Ren Xiaosu returned home, he called Yan Liuyan to come in. He directly said to the palace, "Use the perfect level skill map." However, something unexpected happened to Ren Xiaosu. The palace replied, "It is impossible to use the skill learning map on the target." Ren Xiaosu is stunned. He never expected such a result. This situation has never happened when he used it on anyone before, and according to the palace, even the basic level skill learning map cannot be used. Ren Xiaosu looked at Yan Liuyan carefully. Why did Yan Liuyan become an exception here in the palace? You know, the palace can even flash the nanorbits directly. Yan Liuyan was not a refugee, or Ren Xiaosu was not sure whether Yan Liuyan was a refugee before, because he picked Yan Liuyan up from the wilderness. That winter, he saw Yan Liuyan unconscious in the wilderness. Originally, Ren Xiaosu wanted to abandon Yan Liuyan, but he left for a long time before he felt uneasy and went back to bring Yan Liuyan back to the market town. At that time, he asked many people behind Yan Liuyan's back if anyone knew whose child he was, but no one knew. After Yan Liuyan woke up, he didn't remember anything. He just called Ren Xiaosu brother. At that moment, Ren Xiaosu seemed to be touched, because he had never felt what it felt like to have relatives. But Ren Xiaosu is cruel. He couldn't even support himself at that time, so how could he support others? When Yan Liuyan woke up, he wanted to drive Yan Liuyan away. Yan Liuyan cried and waited outside his shack for a whole day. Ren Xiaosu asked him cruelly again, "Can't you go to someone else's house and cry? I can't support you." Yan Liuyan was confused at that time, "But you are my brother." Ren Xiaosu softened his heart for the first time. "To survive in this wilderness, you must at least have a skill. Tell me what you can do to help me." At that moment, Ren Xiaosu also wanted to find a way out for himself. If the child in front of him could help him a little, even if he could just help him do some work, he would grit his teeth and keep Yan Liuyan. Yan Liuyan cried for a long time and didn't know what skill he had, but suddenly said that he could make a wish. At first, Ren Xiaosu didn't believe it, thinking that this ability was the same as not having it. He could make a wish himself, but he just hadn't realized it. But after Yan Liuyan tried it twice, Ren Xiaosu found that what Yan Liuyan said was actually true. After so many years, Ren Xiaosu never delved into Yan Liuyan's identity. After all, who has the time to delve into this these days? But now even the palace can't replicate Yan Liuyan's skills, which makes Ren Xiaosu think deeply. Why did Liuyan appear alone in the wilderness? Was he abandoned by his parents? Thinking carefully, Yan Liuyan's ability to make wishes come true and curses come true seems to be something that only gods can possess. Everyone wants to be a god, because perhaps only gods can make their wishes come true. Yan Liuyan blinked and looked at Ren Xiaosu and thought for a long time, "Brother, what's wrong with you?" Ren Xiaosu pinched Yan Liuyan's face and pulled it for a long time like breaking plasticine. He smiled and said, "Where did you come from, kid?" Yan Liuyan's face was pinched, and his voice was out of tune. "If you do this again, I will be rude to you." Ren Xiaosu was happy. "You've become too powerful, right?" However, at this moment, there was a sound of heavy objects falling to the ground in the next yard, and there were also human cries of pain. Ren Xiaosu frowned. What's going on? Only to hear a familiar voice shouting, 6 killers. Kill 2 people. This voice was clearly Luo Lan's men. As he said that, he went out and jumped onto the wall, only to find that 6 assassins in black had entered the yard of Luo Lan and his family next door, holding guns with silencers. 2 assassins had been shot and killed, probably knocked down by Luo Lan's men, and one of Luo Lan's men was hiding behind a tree in the yard, suppressed by firepower and unable to show his head. Luo Lan was in the house, and they tried to rush out, but were sealed in the house by the assassins' guns. Ren Xiaosu quickly guessed from watching this scene that these people should come to assassinate Luo Lan, but they didn't expect that Luo Lan and his people didn't give up their vigilance even at this time, and there were always people standing guard in the yard, so the moment they climbed into the yard, they were shot and killed by Luo Lan's men who were also holding silenced guns in the dark. Ren Xiaosu sighed. There is a reason why an arrogant fat man like Luo Lan can survive until now. When he jumped in, the assassins who came to assassinate Luo Lan didn't expect that someone else would come in from next door. They immediately pointed their guns at Ren Xiaosu, but it was too late. The assassins felt their eyes blurred, and Ren Xiaosu bent an arc on the ground and came to them. Ren Xiaosu snatched the gun from one of the people, pinched the back of the man's neck with his palm as a shield, and killed the 3 remaining assassins in the yard with only 3 shots. The assassins in his hands were like chickens being held, with no ability to resist at all. Ren Xiaosu wanted to keep this person alive so that Luo Lan and the others would have a living suspect for interrogation. But before he could call Luo Lan out, this person actually committed suicide by taking drugs. Ren Xiaosu frowned and threw him to the ground, watching him foam at the mouth. This was the first time he saw the so-called death warriors with his own eyes. Come out, fatty, they're all dead, Ren Xiaosu shouted to the room. Recommend this book. I add points to everything. Add points to the mobile phone, and you get a mobile pet that can make money online and recharge phone bills. Add points to the fruit knife, and you get a knife girl that can cut all solids but not living things. Add points to the swimming pool, and you get a pool guard that can randomly exchange items. Anyway, they're all weird and fun items and monsters. It's a bit routine at the beginning, but then it starts to go against the routine. If you are interested, you can take a look. Chapter 329, Gifts. Luo Lan ran out of the house, cursing. He was really annoyed by being beaten just now. Damn it, someone really dared to kill me. Fortunately, I didn't let my guard down. However, Luo Lan was also a little surprised. Although he guessed that Ren Xiaosu was a superhuman, he didn't think he was that powerful. Thinking of this, Luo Lan asked his subordinate who had just hidden behind the tree, "Did you see clearly how he killed people?" The soldier shook his head. "I didn't see clearly." "Who are these people?" Ren Xiaosu looked at Luo Lan. "Don't tell others that I helped you. I don't want to get into this kind of trouble." "Okay, that's for sure." Luo Lan looked at the bodies, "Search them and see if you can find anything, but it doesn't make much sense. A drug-taking assassin wouldn't carry any clues on him." Sure enough, after searching them, they found that these people had nothing else on them except pistols and magazines. Luo Lan squatted beside him and thought, "Let me think about it. Who will benefit if I die?" Ren Xiaosu sat on the stone bench beside him and let him think slowly. "The Zhong family." Luo Lan asked doubtfully, "If they kill me, then the Yang family and the Qing family will immediately be plunged into war. The natural environment of the Zhong family in the north is not as good as that of the south. They have always wanted to plot here but couldn't win, so they wanted to infiltrate the 178 barrier to borrow strength. If the Yang family and the Qing family fight, then they can reap the benefits." However, Luo Lan changed his mind and said, "But the Zhong family's people are still in the barrier. If they kill me, Qing Zhen will probably think of this and maybe transfer his anger to the Zhong family. Therefore, it is also possible that the Yang family wants to do something dirty and kill me when the Zhong family's people are at the 178 barrier, so that they can't explain themselves even if they are right. In this way, they can force the Zhong family to face Qing Zhen together. After all, the Zhong family can't prove that they are not his people." Ren Xiaosu said unhappily, "It's useless to analyze it." "Then what can I do?" Luo Lan glared. "There are no clues at all. Can't we just guess?" "Okay, take your time to guess," Ren Xiaosu said. "Remember, don't tell anyone that I saved you. I'm leaving the fortress the day after tomorrow. Don't make things difficult for me." Luo Lan's face changed drastically at that time. What should I do if you leave? What if someone wants to kill me? Don't worry, Li Yuan is next to me, Ren Xiaosu said indifferently, and the boy from the Zhong family left with me. I think you will be safe once he leaves. Hey, what are you going to do? Luo Lan asked in confusion. To suppress the bandits, Ren Xiaosu turned back to his own yard. At this time, he heard Luo Lan shouting in a low voice from behind, "Wait, you said to let Li Yuan protect me? Can he do it?" At this time, Ren Xiaosu really regarded Luo Lan as a friend, and Luo Lan was the same, so Ren Xiaosu didn't mind helping Luo Lan. But tonight's facts were really weird. The Yang family and the Qing family seemed to be living in peace now. The armies of both sides were still cooperating on the front line to fight the Li family, as if Luo Lan was not under house arrest. But under this seemingly peaceful sea, the waves are surging. Now the Li family's Guangying mountain front is in danger. Many of Li's troops are forced to fight guerrilla warfare with Yang and Qing in the mountains, trying to destroy the two sides' logistics supply lines and forward passages. After all, they can't beat Yang's armored brigade on the front battlefield, and Qing's missile troops are particularly brutal, so Li can only try to delay the defeat in this way. When the defeat really comes, I'm afraid Yang and Qing will fight immediately. This is the result of many people's speculation. Luo Lan and Ren Xiaosu both know that Qing Zhen will send people to rescue, but no one knows how Qing Zhen will rescue. Force attack? Then Luo Lan must be gone. Ren Xiaosu feels that with his own vision, he is afraid that he can't guess what Qing Zhen is going to do. As the bandit suppression is about to start, Sister Xiao is busy again. She goes non-stop to purchase various supplies for Ren Xiaosu, fearing that Ren Xiaosu will suffer outside. Now, Ren Xiaosu's storage space has a vacuum zone, so the food won't go bad. This is a new tent, a moisture-proof mat, and a quilt and mattress, said Sister Xiao. Although she didn't know how Ren Xiaosu took them away, she had long discovered that Ren Xiaosu actually had the ability to carry more things. After all, she was one of the closest people to Ren Xiaosu, and they lived together on weekdays, so how could she not notice something? This is a newly bought stainless steel bowl and chopsticks, you should take them too. Ren Xiaosu suddenly asked, wait, why are you taking 2 bowls and 2 pairs of chopsticks? Aren't you going out with Miss Xiaojin? Sister Xiao was stunned for a moment. Since you can take more, then help her take one and keep it ready. Why is there only one tent and other things? Ren Xiaosu is confused. Sister Xiao laughed. Why are you embarrassed? I only brought you a tent for your own good. It's okay if you don't need it. If you do, you will thank me. Ren Xiaosu is stunned by these words, and he didn't know how to respond. However, at this moment, a car stopped outside, and someone got out and knocked on the door, saying, "Hello, is anyone there?" Ren Xiaosu raised his eyebrows. This voice was extremely unfamiliar and he had never heard it before. He went to open the door, but when he opened the door, he found a young man standing at the door whom he had never seen before. "Hello, my name is Zhong Cheng, nice to meet you." Zhong Cheng was the same height as Ren Xiaosu, and he was weighing gifts in both hands. Behind him, Zhong Cheng's subordinates wanted to help him carry the gifts, but Zhong Cheng smiled and said, "It's okay, I can do it myself. You wait for me outside, don't come in, or you'll dirty my yard." Ren Xiaosu had to admit that Zhong Cheng's smile was indeed very friendly, making people feel like spring breeze, which was completely different from what he imagined. Originally, he thought Zhong Cheng came to his house to find trouble, but it turned out that he came to give gifts. Zhong Cheng said, "You must be Ren Xiaosu, right? I brought you some gifts from the north, wolfberries, a specialty of our hometown. The gifts are very cheap, I hope you don't mind." Ren Xiaosu thought that Wang Fuge might need these things, so he took them. Zhong Cheng said happily, "I won't go in, because we are going to fight the bandits together, and we need to go to the market to buy some supplies. Is there anything you need to buy? I can help you buy it." Ren Xiaosu glanced at him and said, "No." "Then please take care of me on the way to fight the bandits," Zhong Cheng said politely. "Yes, I will take care of you," Ren Xiaosu said nonchalantly. "Thank you very much," Zhong Cheng said. Ren Xiaosu was waiting for this moment, but he did not receive the thank you coin from Zhong Cheng. Chapter 330 Enthusiastic Yang Yuan. The palace would not lie to Ren Xiaosu, So sincere thanks would definitely earn you thankfulness coins, and insincere thanks would definitely not earn you any. No matter how eager and sincere Zhuangcheng in front of him was, Ren Xiaosu would not believe it. Even if there was no palace incident, Ren Xiaosu would still not believe it, otherwise he would have lived in the wasteland for 17 years in vain. Zhuangcheng did not stay here for long, and Ren Xiaosu did not know what this fellow was thinking, so he just smiled and responded to him. Yan Liwen was watching from the side as Ren Xiaosu clenched Zhuangcheng's hands, and he was just about to swear brotherhood with him. After Zhuangcheng left, Ren Xiaosu finally breathed a sigh of relief. It's really hard to deal with the people of the barrier. We know that we are both acting, but we still have to cooperate. Brother, your smile just now was quite sincere, Yan Liwen said with a smile. I thought you really wanted to recognize him as a brother. Don't you see who your brother is? Ren Xiaosu said proudly. As a result, just after sending one away, another person knocked on the door. Ren Xiaosu thought that it was Zhuangcheng who came back again. He immediately put on a smiling face and went to open the door. When he opened the door, he was ready to shake the other person's hands. Brother. Yang Yuan, who was outside, looked at Ren Xiaosu in surprise, not understanding what was going on. Ha. Ren Xiaosu was embarrassed. Misunderstanding, who are you? Although Ren Xiaosu went to the dinner that night, Yang Yuan came out of the villa after he was taken away by Yang Xianjun, so Ren Xiaosu had never seen Yang Yuan and didn't know him. Yang Yuan smiled and said, Hello, my name is Yang Yuan, I am Yang Xianjun's third uncle. Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment and quickly made way. Come in. At this time, Ren Xiaosu muttered to himself that the person who made him attend the dinner without any preparation was probably the old guy in front of him, who wanted him to give up on Yang Xianjun. But Ren Xiaosu didn't say anything. Yang Yuan came over in person, followed by bodyguards and followers, and entered the yard together and stood guard around. Before Ren Xiaosu could speak, Yang Yuan spoke first. I'm so sorry. I didn't think it through before, so I didn't prepare enough when I arranged for you to attend the dinner. The main reason was that the banquet had been prepared a long time ago, and you just arrived at the fortress not long ago, so I was a little negligent in the reception. Ren Xiaosu smiled and said, No, I'm just a refugee. I just want to see what your dinner is like. Wang Fuge looked at this scene through the window in the house and muttered, 2 foxes. Yan Liwen smiled and said, My brother is not a fox. What is that? It eats foxes. At this time, Yang Yuan had someone send a gift. I didn't prepare any generous gifts for my first visit. I hope you like it. I like it. I'll like whatever you give me, Ren Xiaosu said with a smile. Ren Xiaosu waited for Yang Yuan to talk about business. He didn't believe that the second in command of the Yang group came to visit him to apologize. There must be something more important. As a result, Yang Yuan asked about his well-being for half an hour before turning the topic to what he wanted to ask. Ren Xiaosu really admired the patience of such a person. Yang Yuan said, These days, Su Xianchu has been mentioning you before he left. Are you familiar with Su Xianchu? Yes, Ren Xiaosu smiled. We went to Jingshan together, and Xianjun was with us. Oh, Yang Yuan seemed to have just learned about this matter, and he turned to ask, Do you know Commander Zhang? Zhang Jinglan. Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment. I know him. Yang Yuan smiled. You and him. He is my teacher, Ren Xiaosu said simply and decisively. Yang Yuan was really stunned this time. He didn't expect that Ren Xiaosu and Zhang Jinglan had this kind of relationship. Master and apprentice? Ren Xiaosu looked calm. Who wouldn't use a tiger's skin to make a big banner? At the beginning, he also took the silk banner given by Luo Lan to protect his body. For Ren Xiaosu, practicality is of course the most important thing. Adding a few more amulets to himself is better than anything else. At this time, he would not hide it. Since he knew that Yang Yuan wanted to unite with 178 barrier, it would be fine for Ren Xiaosu to pretend for a while. And he was not lying. He was really Zhang Jinglan's student. Not only a student, he also worked with Zhang Jinglan. They were all teachers at the town school, right? Yang Yuan considered his tone and said, Then why don't you go to 178 barrier? It's not that I won't go, Ren Xiaosu said deeply. I plan to go after a while. After all, there are more important things now, so I'll let Su Xianchu go first. I gave him a letter of introduction and let him go to 178 barrier first. Yang Yuan looked calm, but his heart was turbulent. Could it be that Su Xianchu was able to be reused in 178 barrier because of Ren Xiaosu's letter of introduction? No wonder Su Xianchu heard Ren Xiaosu's name and ignored the scene at the banquet and went to find Ren Xiaosu. And the more important thing Ren Xiaosu said was probably for Yang Xiaojin, right? Ren Xiaosu also had a calm face, and he didn't feel guilty at all for saying this half-truth. It seems that Commander Zhang really thinks highly of you, Yang Yuan said with a kind smile. It's okay. The teacher once planned to let me take over his job, but the time is not yet ripe, Ren Xiaosu said seriously. This was not a lie. After all, Zhang Jinglin chose him as a substitute teacher and did intend to let him be a teacher in the school. But Yang Yuan heard this differently. Zhang Jinglin wanted this young man to take over the 178th barrier in the future? The so-called immature time means that he needs to be trained again. Many old people know that before Zhang Jinglin took over the 178th barrier, he had been working at the grassroots level for 10 years. He waited until everyone obeyed him, and the old commander handed the barrier to him. This really makes sense. Zhang Jinglin was also selected as the commander of the 178th barrier from a refugee, and the 178th barrier is the one that least values origin. Yang Yuan looked at Ren Xiaosu with a gentler look. You are young and promising. He seemed to have completely forgotten what he had said to Yang Xiaojin before. I heard that you are going to fight the bandits this time. Yes, this is our northwest business. Of course I have no choice but to go, Ren Xiaosu said righteously. Okay, Yang Yuan reminded, be sure to pay attention to safety. There is no need to rush to fight the bandits. I believe we can definitely eliminate all the bandit troubles in the future. Okay, I won't stay any longer. You also have to prepare for the departure. You are busy. Thank you, third uncle, Ren Xiaosu said. Hearing this third uncle, Yang Yuan smiled even more. Compared with the Zhuang family, he must hope to unite with the 178 barriers, which is a real help. If the 178 barriers help, swallowing up the Zhuang family is probably not a problem. Yang Yuan will not put the chips on one person, and will also investigate whether what Ren Xiaosu said is true. But as of now, the credibility is still very high. After all, there is Su Xianchu's evidence. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 331, Suppressing Bandits. According to Yang Xiaojin, they will start from Barrier 88, pass Barrier 97 and Barrier 99, and then arrive at the River Valley area in the north. Banditry arose there. At first, the Zhuang family used them to rob the caravans passing by, and also rob the precious resources left by the pre-disaster civilization in the entire River Valley area. There are a large number of pre-disaster urban buildings on the surface or underground of the entire River Valley area. Most of the things left in them are useless, but if they are found to be useful, they are priceless. There were caravans pretending to pass by there, saying that they were doing business, but in fact they stayed in that area to dig out usable materials and technology. Some people tried to find some electronic equipment to dig out the technology and secrets in it, but the reality is that the large amount of chaotic haze and radiation clouds generated by the disaster destroyed all electronic equipment on the ground. The things found were either rusted, or even if they were relatively well preserved, they were unusable. At first, the Zhuang family left these caravans alone and let them dig. As a result, after the digging, the bandits would come as promised and rob them. Many bandits grew stronger as a result, and the Zhuang family also rose with it, becoming a force that cannot be ignored in the northern wasteland. However, the legitimate consortium generally looked down on the Zhuang family, always thinking that what they did was not very technical. In order to whitewash, the Zhuang family has been slowly breaking away from the bandits in recent years, but when they wanted to strangle the bandits, they found that the bandits had long been familiar with all the terrain in the River Valley area and were scattered in every corner of the River Valley area, which gave the Zhuang family a headache. The bandits in the entire River Valley area are now very dissatisfied with the Zhuang family. They used to pay money every year, but now they suddenly kill the donkey after unloading the mill. It's too ruthless. At this time, The Zhong family suddenly joined forces with the Yang family and the 178 barriers, and also wanted to borrow the power to go ashore and bid farewell to their sinful past. As long as the bandits are killed, in another 100 years, everyone will naturally forget how they started. Sister Xiaoyu said at the side, "Here are some snacks prepared for you. It is said that they are the green bean cakes that are particularly famous in the fortress. Take them with you. There are also." Ren Xiaosu listened to Sister Xiaoyu's nagging at the side. Now when he goes on a long journey, he no longer needs to pack his things by himself. Sister Xiaoyu will help him prepare. Luo Lan was lying on the wall and watching. He suddenly interrupted, "You actually brought so much food? Otherwise, you can take me with you. I'm a good fighter." Ren Xiaosu looked at Luo Lan speechlessly. "Do you know why silent people seem smarter than those who talk a lot?" Luo Lan was stunned for a moment. "Why?" "Because they keep all the stupid words in their hearts." Luo Lan. Ren Xiaosu suddenly asked, "Have you heard of Zhong Chang?" Zhong Chang. Luo Lan recalled, "No, he must be from the Zhong family. We are not familiar with the Zhong family. Doesn't your Qing family border the Zhong family's territory in the north?" Ren Xiaosu asked puzzledly. "The Zhong family is a group of hyenas. No decent consortium is willing to deal with them. Tigers never make friends with hyenas," Luo Lan said. "Anyway, you have to be careful." At this time, there was a sound of a car stopping outside. Ren Xiaosu knew that he was about to leave. Wang Fuge, Yan Liwen and others came to see him off and told him to be careful. Ren Xiaosu opened the door and came to the street. He saw Yang Xiaojun driving an off-road vehicle. There was no one else in the car except Yang Xiaojun, and there were 2 troop transport trucks following behind, which seemed to be carrying a lot of soldiers and supplies. "Get in the car," Yang Xiaojun said. Ren Xiaosu turned around and said to Yan Liwen, "When I'm not around, you take care of this house." "Yes," Yan Liwen nodded vigorously. After saying that, Ren Xiaosu opened the car door and drove away. On the way, Ren Xiaosu casually asked, "How many soldiers are there in the truck behind?" Yang Xiaojun glanced at him and said, 30 nano warriors, used to suppress bandits." Nano warriors. Ren Xiaosu's eyes lit up, but he immediately gave up the idea of harming these nano warriors. After all, they were here to protect Yang Xiaojun, so he couldn't do anything to them. Thinking of this, Ren Xiaosu felt uncomfortable. He and Yan Liwen didn't lack nanorbits, but Wang Yuqi and the others did. Yang Xiaojun looked at Ren Xiaosu. "What did you say to third uncle? Why did his attitude suddenly change? He even asked me to get along well with you." "Nothing," Ren Xiaosu said with a smile. "I said I was Zhang Jinglan's student, and that's not wrong, right?" Yang Xiaojun glanced at him. "My third uncle only cares about interests. Don't be fooled by his appearance. Once he finds out that you are lying to him, I'm afraid he will change his attitude immediately." If Yang Yuan finds out that what Ren Xiaosu meant by taking over the job was just taking over the school teacher, then his attitude will definitely change. It's not that he will immediately abandon Ren Xiaosu, but that Zhong Cheng seems more important than Ren Xiaosu. But Ren Xiaosu suddenly asked, "What's your attitude?" Yang Xiaojun's mouth curled up slightly. "Guess." He stepped on the accelerator and the off-road vehicle accelerated towards the northern gate of the 88th barrier, where they would meet up with the Zhong family. After Ren Xiaosu and the others left, Yan Liwen stood at the door for a long time, looking at the direction where the SUV left. Sister Xiaoyu came to him and said, "Don't worry, your brother's injury has healed, he will be fine." "Well," Yan Liwen said, "I'm not worried about that." "Then what are you thinking about?" Sister Xiaoyu smiled. Yan Liwen looked at Sister Xiaoyu. "Sister, the school will hold a parent-teacher meeting tomorrow, can you go in place of my brother?" Sister Xiaoyu was a little embarrassed when she heard this. "Me? Can I?" "You are my sister, of course you can," Yan Liwen said with a smile. Although Sister Xiaoyu has been with them for a long time, Ren Xiaosu and Yan Liwen have accepted Sister Xiaoyu from the bottom of their hearts, but sometimes when it's late at night, Sister Xiaoyu will feel a little worried. She doesn't know if she has really integrated into this family. Going to a parent-teacher meeting must be something that only real family members can go to, and Yan Liwen called her Sister Xiaoyu instead of sister, and it always feels that the relationship between them has become one step closer at this time. Sister Xiaoyu asked curiously, "Then do I need to dress up?" When she was in the 113th market town, Sister Xiaoyu had delicate makeup, but after she followed Ren Xiaosu and the others, because she had to take care of the housework, she didn't wear makeup most of the time, and she went out with a plain face every day. Now she has to go to the parent-teacher meeting for Yan Liuan. She can't embarrass Yan Liuan, and can't let Liuan's classmates think that his sister is a rough woman. She has to be more delicate. Yan Liuan looked at Sister Xiaoyu and smiled. Sister, you look good even without makeup, really. Sister Xiaoyu rolled her eyes at him. You're so sweet. It's time to ask for monthly tickets every day. Recommended book. The Movie King returns to 18. It took Ning Yuan 22 years to go from a grassroots to a movie king. Looking back, those regrets in the past finally have the opportunity to make up for them. There are many wonderful things in the future, and I will do my best to chase them. I am Ning Yuan, creating a legend. Chapter 332 Parents Meeting. It was the first time that Yan Liuan heard about the parents' meeting in the barrier school. He didn't know until the teacher informed him. He didn't know what the meeting was for. Jiang Wu said that it was to summarize the students' learning progress and give parents some precautions. There was nothing special. Yan Liuan was relieved when he heard Jiang Wu say that. But he didn't tell Ren Xiaosu because he was worried that this matter would affect Ren Xiaosu's schedule, and there were some other reasons. It was also the first time for Sister Xiaoyu to attend a parents' meeting. She also went to the barrier store to buy new clothes, and even bought new cosmetics and jewelry. When Sister Xiaoyu dressed up and walked out of the house, Yan Liuan's eyes lit up. Sister Xiaoyu is so beautiful. Sister Xiaoyu put on simple earrings, a newly bought down jacket and boots. She wanted to wear a skirt, but the weather was too cold, so Yan Liuan chased her back to change it. Sister Xiaoyu was nervous and put on heavy makeup, but Yan Liuan smiled for a long time and helped her wash it off. Yan Liuan said, Sister, you are naturally beautiful, and you look good without makeup. Sister Xiaoyu tapped his forehead and said, You are the only one who can talk, right? Let's go to the parent-teacher conference for you. When you show up like this, many classmates may stare at you, Yan Liuan said with a smile. It's no wonder that Yan Liuan is always a friend of women wherever he goes. Although his compliments may not be very clever, the frequency of his compliments is too high, and women love to hear this. However, Yan Liuan was really happy when he saw Sister Xiaoyu happy. Sister Xiaoyu took Yan Liuan and Wang Dalan to school by tram. While on the bus, Yan Liuan was still saying, Look, the uncle behind you is staring at you. When they arrived at the school, Yan Liuan found that most people had already arrived. This school was a school where the children of the powerful and wealthy gathered in the barrier. Everyone had a private car, so it was normal for them to arrive late by tram. Fortunately, they were not late. But when he walked into the classroom, he suddenly felt that the parents' eyes were a little strange. They were all looking at them, and then whispering with the children and parents around them. The teacher walked into the classroom. She was a middle-aged female teacher. She smiled and said, In the final exam of last semester, the children in our class did very well. Here, everyone should give their children some applause to encourage them. Sister Xiaoyu also clapped her hands. As a result, Yan Liuan whispered beside her, Sister, I didn't take that final exam, so you don't have to applaud. Sister Xiaoyu glanced at him and said, I can encourage you even if you didn't take the exam. You are such a good child. Who else can I encourage if not you? Yan Liuan held back his laughter. The teacher was talking about the study plan and the tutoring classes that the children usually attended. She encouraged the children to attend more tutoring classes because the children in this class will all go to college in the future. If they study the content beyond the syllabus early, they will be one step ahead of other children in high school. As the saying goes, one step ahead, every step ahead. This is the truth. Yan Liuan and Sister Xiaoyu didn't listen much. Although Ren Xiaosu kept urging him to study hard, Sister Xiaoyu was afraid that he would be tired, so she didn't care much about how he studied. She knew that this was a kind of doting, but she couldn't help it. However, the teacher said at this time, It's like this. We'll take a weekend afternoon today to hold a parent meeting. We also want to communicate something with everyone. The classroom suddenly became quiet. The teacher said, Yan Liuan? Wang Dalan? Are the parents here? Yan Liuan and Sister Xiaoyu looked up. The teacher smiled at Sister Xiaoyu, You must be Yan Liuan's parent. Sister Xiaoyu responded with a smile, Yes, I am the sister of Yan Liuan and Wang Dalan. You are really young. Where are their parents? Did their parents come? The teacher asked. Sister Xiaoi was stunned for a moment, then said, "Teacher, I'll do it." "Okay, that's it," the female teacher said. "Our parents have reported some things recently, that is, Yan Liwen and Wang Daling's studies are not as good as others. Our class is originally a good class in the school, a rocket class. When the teacher teaches, he will definitely add a lot of content that goes beyond the syllabus. They don't have a good foundation, so they will definitely not be able to keep up." Sister Xiao's mood gradually sank as the teacher spoke. She thought this was just an ordinary parent-teacher meeting. Jiang Wu also said that the parent-teacher meeting was nothing more than some commonplace content, and there would be nothing special. But things seemed a little different from what they imagined. Sister Xiao said, "Teacher, what do you mean? My Liwen and Wang Daling are both very smart, how could they not keep up with the progress of their studies?" "Don't get me wrong," the female teacher said with a smile, "I just want them to change classes. The school leaders know about this, and we are doing this for their own good. If they can't keep up with the progress, they will gradually not understand anything, which is not good for them. We mean to transfer them to ordinary classes, and we have no other intentions, so don't think too much about it." The teacher's reasoning was correct, and she also used this reasoning to convince the school leaders, for the sake of Yan Liwen and Wang Dalin, they really couldn't keep up with the progress of their studies in this class. Yan Liwen and Wang Dalin were relatives, so the school leaders did not agree with this matter at first, but later they could not resist the persuasion of powerful parents, so the school leaders agreed. After all, the reasoning was correct. Lu Yuan asked someone to handle the admission of Yan Liwen and Wang Dalin, and that person was not particularly powerful. The school leaders weighed the pros and cons and asked the head teacher to handle the matter properly. Sister Xiaoi met the female teacher's gaze and said firmly, "Although I don't quite understand your arrangement, it may be that the choice you mentioned is indeed good for them, but I understand one thing very well. You should talk to me about this matter in private, rather than in front of the whole class, in a way that is almost humiliating." Sister Xiaoi is not well educated, but she knows the truth in this world. At this moment, a short female parent suddenly said, "Why should I talk to you, a refugee? My husband is the director of the order department. Even if I say that I can't let those two boys go to school, what's wrong? If the director of the order department himself was here, it would be impossible for him to say so. If he knew that the two students were the younger brothers of Ren Xiaosu, he might even slap his wife on the spot, but he was afraid that he didn't know about this at all. Which powerful man in this day and age would care about such a trivial matter as a parent-teacher meeting for his children? Instead, his relatives, friends and wife are used to pretending to be powerful, so they would say so. This kind of thing is everywhere in society. A male parent advised her, "You can't talk like that. We should discuss things in a friendly way and not use power to pressure others." The other parents remained silent. Chapter 333 The Beginning of Disaster. The female parent looked at the male parent who was speaking and sneered, "What do you care about what I say? You want your child to be friends with refugees, but I don't want that." The male parent was choked and couldn't speak for a long time, and he didn't want to argue with the woman. Sister Xiao sneered, "What if I don't want to change their class?" "No." The short female parent stood up and put her hands on her waist and said, "You said you don't want to change classes, so why not? Ask the parents and children in the class if they agree. We have more than 30 parents of students, and we have to accommodate you alone." Sister Xiao said, "You stand up and talk to me, I stand and you sit. Is that polite? Is this a barrier person?" Yan Liwen laughed out loud, while Wang Dalin next to him looked at him like he was watching a good show. The female parent was immediately angry. Her height has always been her sore point, and others can't say anything about it. As a result, she was severely ridiculed by Sister Xiao. She raised her voice and said, "You uneducated thing, who dared you to talk to me like that? Be careful." "Be careful of what?" Sister Xiao smiled and said, "Be careful you jump up and hit my knees." At this time, Yan Liwen almost laughed his ass off. He sat in his seat and looked up at Sister Xiao. Her thin body seemed taller. This little woman became a housekeeper who did the laundry and cooked for him in Ren Xiaosu. She used to spend money lavishly, but now she was willing to bargain with the vendors for a few cents. Now, she was like a hero again, trying her best to protect Yan Liwen from harm. Yan Liwen was actually annoyed by Sister Xiao on weekdays because she required him to wash his hands before eating, and she required him to wear long johns when the weather was cold, and he had to eat some vegetables he didn't like because Sister Xiaoyu said that the nutrition should be balanced. But looking back on the past, it was all the warmth of home. It seemed that with Sister Xiaoyu, their home was like a home. If there was no Sister Xiaoyu, then this home would lack a certain gentle power. The female parent looked at Sister Xiaoyu, and was so angry that she couldn't speak for a long time. She rushed over and wanted to slap Sister Xiaoyu, but Sister Xiaoyu dodged in time and slapped her back, knocking off the other's glasses. After the fight, Sister Xiaoyu did not pursue the victory, but retreated. At this time, other parents hurriedly stood up to stop the fight. The female parent wanted to fight again but had no chance. Sister Xiaoyu took advantage of the slap, and she seemed to have expected this scene. You know, no matter whether they are men or women, refugees are much more fierce than the people of the barrier when fighting. Someone suddenly said, "Why don't we listen to the children's opinions? See what they say." As a result, a child suddenly said, "Since they came, there have been frequent cases of missing pens and erasers in the class." Sister Xiaoyu was so angry that she couldn't help but curse, "Stop your dog fart, whose child is so uncultured that he would slander others? Who doesn't have pens and erasers? I bought them for London. Why would I steal your pens?" As a result, the female parent who was beaten just now exploded again. "How dare you say that to my son? You say dirty words. I can tell that you haven't done anything serious outside the barrier. Your money is not clean either." Yan Luiyun was stunned. He suddenly turned his head to look at Sister Xiaoyu, but found that a sharp-tongued Sister Xiaoyu was suddenly stunned on the spot. That was the most painful scar in her heart, and it was suddenly torn open by someone. At this moment, Sister Xiaoyu looked a little dazed and helpless, like a wounded little beast. The darkest and most decadent time in her life made Sister Xiaoyu seem to always carry a shadow, which was also the reason why she always felt that she had not integrated into the family. It's not that Yan Luiyun and Ren Xiaosu are not good enough to her, but because she feels that she is not worthy. This morning, Li Xiaoyu felt that the world was particularly fresh. She seemed to be able to crawl out of the nightmare hell that often woke her up at midnight to see the scenery on earth. However, at this moment, she was pulled back into hell. When the female parent saw Sister Xiaoyu's expression, she suddenly became proud. Look! I was right, wasn't I? I was right." Yan Luiyun looked at her and said, "I warn you not to say it again." "Why can't you say it?" the female parent said fiercely. "What kind of woman dares to come to the parent-teacher meeting?" Yan Luiyun roared, "I told you, don't say it again." As soon as the voice fell, Yan Luiyun broke through the crowd and slapped her in the face. Many people subconsciously wanted to stop Yan Luiyun when they saw him rushing over, but when they collided with Yan Luiyun, they found that they couldn't stop him at all. This young man's strength is amazing. The classroom was in chaos, and even a large area of tables fell over. But just when he was about to kill someone on the spot, Sister Xiaoyu hugged him from behind and whispered, "Luiyun, let's go home." Yan Luiyun stood there quietly, tears suddenly flowing down. Sister Xiaoyu whispered again, "Luiyun, let's go home." "Okay, Dallin, let's go." Yan Luiyun took Sister Xiaoyu's hand and walked out of the school gate. He didn't plan to go to school. Wang Dallin hurriedly followed. When he left, he spit at the female parent. Yan Luiyun's hand was too heavy just now, so that the female parent has not recovered yet. On the way home, Sister Xiaoyu held Yan Luiyun's hand tightly, fearing that he would kill someone impulsively. She knew that if Yan Luiyun used nanorbits to kill people, I'm afraid that the classroom would have been a river of blood just now, and no one could stop him. And she held Yan Luiyun's hand so tightly, as if she was afraid of losing Yan Luiyun, afraid that Yan Luiyun would abandon her. However, just when they were about to get home, a car suddenly drove towards them quickly. The driver in the car was drunk and kept stepping on the accelerator. The pedestrians on the street screamed, but the driver kept turning a deaf ear and continued to accelerate. The vehicles running rampant on the road were like the scythe of the god of death, whistling. But when it was about to hit Yan Luiyun seemed to have foreseen the future and pulled Sister Xiaoyu and the others to a safe area. Sister Xiaoyu stared at Yan Luiyun blankly. "You." The ability of curse was still a new world that Sister Xiaoyu opened for Yan Luiyun with her own hands, so Sister Xiaoyu knew that Yan Luiyun had such an ability, and also knew that Yan Luiyun would be backlashed. She suddenly whispered, "Is she dead?" Yan Luiyun stood beside her and said calmly, "She must be dead. Let's go home." Sister Xiaoyu pulled Yan Luiyun away, Her weak body seemed to be dragging Yan Liwen, stubborn and helpless. Chapter 334, There is a mine at home. If Yan Liwen didn't have the nanorbits, he would have died just now, and even Sister Xiao and Wang Dalin would have been implicated. It seems that this is why he became a superhuman but did not increase his power like others. It was as if the world was punishing him for not abusing his power. This was his shortcoming, but Ren Xiaosu made up for it for him. It was not an exaggeration to call it a reversal of fate. Sister Xiao didn't say anything. She felt that the beast in Yan Liwen's heart that was once restrained by Ren Xiaosu was about to come out and eat people, but she didn't know how to stop it. She only knew that Yan Liwen shouldn't become like that. The next moment, the neon lights above their heads suddenly fell down because the screws were loose. This time, Yan Liwen once again pulled Sister Xiao and Wang Dalin away in advance. Sister Xiao whispered, "Who is it this time?" "Sister, don't worry about it," Yan Liwen replied. "Don't kill people, okay?" Sister Xiao said to Yan Liwen. "No," Yan Liwen shook his head and patted his chest. "I have a grudge in my heart. I feel uncomfortable, but I can't get it out." Sister Xiao suddenly cried, "Liwen, stop it. I don't deserve you to do this. It was my own mistake. I will bear it myself." Yan Liwen looked at her stubbornly. "You are worth it." As he said, Yan Liwen reached out to wipe away her tears. "Don't cry. I will help you kill her, and her family will go to hell together." Sister Xiao didn't know what to do. Without Ren Xiaosu by her side, there was no one who could restrain Yan Liwen. Seeing that Yan Liwen's murderous intent was getting stronger and stronger, Sister Xiao hugged Yan Liwen tightly. "Do you remember what your brother said? Don't let the sorrow of the times become your sorrow." It seems that Ren Xiaosu's name has this strange magic for Yan Liwen. It also seems that this sentence touched Yan Liwen's heart. When Sister Xiao finished speaking, Yan Liwen's mood finally began to calm down. The wife of the director of the order department died in a car accident. This incident caused a lot of discussion in the barrier. Someone specifically told the director of the order department that his wife had an argument with someone at school, so she rushed to the street to find someone impulsively. The director of the order department was furious in the office and vowed to severely punish the murderer and find the student and parent who beat his wife at school. But before he could investigate carefully, Yang Yuan called him to the Yang family's manor and scolded him severely, saying that he had not disciplined his relatives, friends and wife well, and that he was indiscriminate as the director of the order department. If he continued to make trouble, he would be removed from his position as the director of the order department. When Yang Yuan scolded him, his words were high-sounding. However, the director of the order department understood that there must be a reason for this. Yang Yuan was definitely not the kind of person who would scold him for so-called justice. This matter must involve Yang Yuan's interests. It was not until this time that he calmed down and recalled what happened. Then he remembered that someone said that this was because of a refugee? Exclamation mark. Wait, the identity of refugees is too rare in the barrier. In recent years, there are probably less than 10 refugees in the entire Yang's barrier. It's easy to find, but recently there is a refugee boy who is in the limelight. No, a group of refugees have come in recently. After he asked someone to check the truth, he was surprised to find that the boy who had a dispute with his wife was Ren Xiaosu's younger brother. After discovering this clue, he immediately understood why Yang Yuan didn't stand on his side this time. However, his first reaction was not to fight for his official position to avenge his wife, but to curse her in a low voice, and then explain that the matter would not be further investigated. What happened in the school had nothing to do with the car accident. This matter was all caused by the stupid woman's failure to obey traffic rules and had nothing to do with others. Once the case was closed, the whole barrier was in an uproar. Those who knew the truth knew why the director of the order department bowed his head, and those who didn't know the truth thought that the director of the order department was probably looking forward to promotion, wealth and the death of his wife. What surprised the insiders the most was that the director of the order department actually went to the door to apologize to Yan Liwen and Sister Xiao, but Yan Liwen closed the door and didn't even want to see him. The school leaders also came to the door, but Wang Fuge came forward to handle the withdrawal procedures for Yan Liwen and Wang Dalin. Gradually, the insiders didn't know where to get the news. It turned out that the refugee Ren Xiaosu was actually Zhang Jinglin's student. No wonder Ren Xiaosu could recommend Su Xianchu to the 178th barrier. At this time, Ren Xiaosu's bandit suppression team had just arrived at the first barrier. They had to pass on their route. Everyone would take a short half-day break here and then continue to head north. Ren Xiaosu didn't do anything else after entering the barrier. Instead, he went around the gold shops with his current official bandit suppression identity and exchanged the devalued Li and Qing currencies. However, due to the rush of time, he was unable to exchange too much. During this time, Yang Xiaojun also disappeared for a while, apparently to meet the thugs' undercover personnel, while Zhuang Cheng stayed in the convoy, cheerfully saying that he would wait for them to come back. He looked like a polite young talent, sharp but gentle. On the way, he talked to Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun, but Yang Xiaojun ignored him completely. Instead, Ren Xiaosu and Zhuang Cheng almost became brothers. There were more than 60 people from the Zhuang clan traveling together this time, divided into 2 troop transport trucks. Cooking and other things on the road were basically done by the Zhuang clan. The Nano warriors look very superior, only looking at Yang Xiaojun, Ren Xiaosu, and Zhuang Cheng in a good face. When ordinary soldiers talked to them, they were all indifferent. Ren Xiaosu found an opportunity to ask Yang Xiaojun, why are people so interested in Barrier 178? Is it because they can fight? Yang Xiaojun explained, in modern war, no matter how good you are at fighting, you can't fight without money. There are 4 military factories near Barrier 178, which are crucial. And you may not know that in the territory controlled by Barrier 178, there are more than 30 kinds of mineral deposits, which are ranked first in the grain reserves in the entire barrier system. Some mineral reserves even account for as much as 90%. Yang Xiaojun continued, moreover, the exploitable amount of oil reserves there accounts for as much as 40% of the barrier territory. Modern development relies on minerals and energy, and these are indispensable. Ren Xiaosu is stunned. He used to think that Barrier 178 was particularly poor. After all, the environment there is harsh, and it sounds like a particularly poor place. Unexpectedly, Barrier 178 is actually very rich. Come to think of it, modern wars cannot be won with just courage. Wars are fought for money. The reason why the 178 barriers can stand firm in the northwest and not get close to any financial group is not because they are eccentric or arrogant, but because they have mines at home. The spy world Hutong, 300,000 words, is now available, taking you into the year 1936 when war is about to break out. Chapter 335 Magician Zhuang Cheng. Ren Xiaosu felt that it was not his fault that he thought Barrier 178 was very poor. After all, think about it, a place with poor mountains and rivers does not look like a place with riches. But Yang Xiaojun's explanation made him understand why Barrier 178 was a borderland, but so many people were eyeing it. No wonder Barrier 178 wanted to eliminate banditry and open up the trade route. The ore had to be shipped out to the Central Plains. The key is that even though Barrier 178 was so rich, why didn't Zhang Jinglin want to be the commander of Barrier 178? Hypocritical. In his heart, Ren Xiaosu despised Zhang Jinglin. When they arrived at the second barrier for repairs, Yang Xiaojun disappeared again, and Ren Xiaosu exchanged some gold and returned to their gathering place in advance. At this time, Yang Xiaojun had not returned, and Zhuang Cheng was joking with Yang's Nano warriors. His soldiers brought folding chairs to the Nano warriors and brought some northern specialties for them to eat. It seems that Zhuang Cheng is very interested in these Nano warriors and is willing to deal with them. No matter how arrogant the Nano warriors are, they will not put on airs with the big man of the Zhuang family in front of them. They are quite happy to chat. When Ren Xiaosu came back, he did not approach directly, but watched from a distance. He saw that Zhuang Cheng seemed to be performing magic. He saw that he was holding a kettle in his hand and asked the Nano warrior, "What do you like to drink normally?" The Nano warrior smiled and said, "You are polite, I just drink water." "Okay," Zhuang Cheng said, and tilted the bottle in his hand slightly, and poured out clear water. Zhuang Cheng turned his head and looked at another soldier. "What do you like to drink? Say something different." "I like to drink grape juice," said the Nano warrior. "That's fine." Zhuang Cheng still held the original bottle, but the original clear water disappeared, and this time it poured out purple grape juice. The Nano warriors exclaimed, "Is there a mechanism in your bottle? Come, check it out." Zhuang Cheng handed the bottle out, and the Nano warrior looked into the bottle mouth, but found that there was no mechanism inside. At this time, Zhuang Cheng turned around and saw Ren Xiaosu, "Brother Xiaosu. Why are you just watching? Come over and sit for a while. We'll set off when Yang Xiaojun comes back. Ren Xiaosu walked over and said with a smile, can you do card magic? This is a must-learn for every magician. Zongcheng took out a deck of cards from the chest pocket of his shirt. What kind do you want to see me do? Ren Xiaosu suddenly felt that something was wrong. Why would a core figure of a consortium be obsessed with magic? I heard that Zongcheng was also a superhuman. Maybe his superhuman ability was related to magic? Ren Xiaosu smiled and said, how about you do 4-4s for me? Easy, Zongcheng said confidently. Draw 4 cards at random. He spread the cards like a fan, face down, so that no one could see what was on the cards. Ren Xiaosu reached out and pulled out the cards. This card was a special magic poker. He also had such cards. It's really 4-4s? Ren Xiaosu said in surprise as he looked at the cards in his hand. Brother Zongcheng is really amazing. After saying that, Ren Xiaosu returned the cards. Zongcheng was stunned for a moment. He always felt that something was wrong, but he didn't notice what was wrong. No, it's just a trick. Zongcheng smiled and put the cards back into the box, then stuffed them into the lining of his clothes at his chest. At this time, Zongcheng smiled warmly and said, by the way, Brother Xiaosu, I just heard something. I heard that you have a very good relationship with Su Xianshu. Ren Xiaosu looked at him and smiled. It's okay. It's mainly to recommend powerful talents to the teacher. Of course, he knew what Zongcheng wanted to ask, and Ren Xiaosu never refused any opportunity to put a talisman on himself. Zongcheng smiled. Brother Su and I are also very familiar with each other. It seems that we are destined to meet. But may I ask, your teacher is? Zhang Jinglin, Ren Xiaosu whispered. I will not tell this secret to ordinary people. Keep a low profile. Zongcheng's eyes twitched. Is this still a secret? The whole Yang family knows it, okay. Even he has received the news. At first, he was a little hesitant and repeatedly confirmed with the other party whether the matter was true. As a result, the other party said that everyone in the 88 barrier knew about it. Ren Xiaosu's brother made the director of the order department suffer a loss. When they set out, Zongcheng found that Yang Yuan's attitude was a little wrong. It turned out that this was the crux. After confirming this matter, Zongcheng's smile to Ren Xiaosu became more sincere. Originally, he would occasionally talk to Yang Xiaojun. As a result, when they were traveling together, he seemed to not know Yang Xiaojun. He never said a word and changed his name from Xiaojun to Yang Xiaojun. This was completely different from his original plan. In the original plan, he should be the protagonist of this bandit suppression. He was not afraid of Ren Xiaosu, just like the Yang family dared to detain Luolan. Although both sides were powerful, the Yang family might not be afraid of the Qing family. The Zong family was the same with the 178 barrier. They had been operating in the north for so many years, and they were not easy to deal with. However, he felt that as a man, he should be more ambitious, instead of making trouble for such a trivial matter of love. The Zong family had been enduring in the barren north for so long, and everyone said they were hyenas, and even refused to admit that they were a consortium. Now that the South was in war, it was the best time for the Zong family to rise again. Things could not be ruined in his hands. When they set off again, Ren Xiaosu sat in the co-pilot of the off-road vehicle and asked, "Can I drive for a while?" Yang Xiaojun looked at him in surprise. "Why do you suddenly want to drive? Can you drive?" "Of course," Ren Xiaosu said confidently. "How can a man not know how to drive?" "That's fine." Yang Xiaojun stopped the car and exchanged seats with him. Ren Xiaosu excitedly stepped on the accelerator, but after he had driven for just 10 minutes, Yang Xiaojun took out a pistol and pointed it at Ren Xiaosu. "Stop the car, I'll drive." Ren Xiaosu stopped the car angrily. "We can talk it over if we have something to say. Why do you always use guns?" Yang Xiaojun pressed his temple to change the subject. "After we get out of the barrier, the river valley will be in the north. At that time, I will leave Zongcheng and the Nano warriors and act alone." "Huh?" Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment. "Aren't we going to suppress bandits? How can the two of us suppress bandits?" "You probably don't know how serious the bandit problem in the north is," Yang Xiaojun explained. "There are hundreds of large-scale bandit organizations alone, and the smallest one has double-digit numbers. These are the hidden dangers buried by the Zong family back then. So many." Ren Xiaosu was shocked. There were actually hundreds of organizations? So, with just 100 of us, we can't beat a slightly larger bandit organization, Yang Xiaojun said. Chapter 336 Acting Alone. Then why don't you send more people? Ren Xiaosu asked. Aren't you sending us to our deaths? Just send a large army to suppress the bandits. Do you know why that place has become a no man's land? Yang Xiaojun said, because it is a transportation hub in the northwest, with 4 forks, 3 of which lead to the Zhuang family, the Yang family, and the 178th barrier. Whoever sends troops into this area will arouse the suspicion of the other 2 families. The 3 families had a lot of friction because of this matter in the past, and no one wants others to control this line. So no one moved, and gradually it became a bandit gathering area. Ren Xiaosu asked curiously, no wonder the 3 families have to act together when it comes to suppressing bandits, and even Su Xianchu went to the Yang family specifically. Yes, there are even large-scale bandit organizations that have settled down there, robbing refugee women to live there, Yang Xiaojun said. If we want to use the army, we must unite to suppress the bandits, and no one can act alone. This time everyone has the intention to kill the bandits, and this bandit problem must be suppressed. Then everyone sends troops together. Ren Xiaosu said speechlessly, what's the point of sending us there? The river valley has a complex and unique terrain, which makes it very convenient for bandits to hide there, Yang Xiaojun said. Someone must first find out the situation of the bandits in the entire river valley, know where they are, and whether there is a chance to catch them all, and then make plans. Now Ren Xiaosu understood that they were just going to explore the way, and there was no need to fight and kill. Originally, he and Yang Xiaojun had nothing to do with this plan. The main task fell on the 30 nano warriors and the soldiers of the Zhuang family. If the army directly pressed into the river valley, many bandits might hide or run away, and the 3 parties would easily have conflicts. You want to get rid of them, so you should mainly want to get rid of Zhuang Chang, right? Ren Xiaosu asked tentatively. Yes, Yang Xiaojun nodded, because the Zhuang family is more familiar with the river valley area. The Zhuang family proposed that they lead the way this time, but the banditry was originally nurtured by them, and many forces among the bandits have a lot of connections with them. If they lead the way, otherwise we can only see some of the situations he wants us to see. Anyway, the final analysis is to avoid the Zhuang family and not let the Zhuang family lead us by the nose. Ren Xiaosu didn't have any opinions. It can be said that Yang Xiaojun is also skilled and courageous. Who dares to break into the bandit's nest like this? Ren Xiaosu asked curiously, aren't you worried about something happening? Don't you still have you? Yang Xiaojun glanced at him, and suddenly stepped on the accelerator at an intersection. When leaving the barrier, Yang Xiaojun deliberately drove to the back of the team. At this time, the convoy in front had turned into another fork in the road, so when Yang Xiaojun suddenly changed lanes and drove west, the vehicles in front did not react. By the time they found that the off-road vehicle driven by Yang Xiaojun had changed its route, it was too late for them to turn around. They could only stop the car and watch Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun drive northwestward, watching the off-road vehicle raise huge clouds of dust on the road. The wilderness in the south was still lush and green. Just 2 barriers separated it, but the land under the sky suddenly changed from green to earthy yellow, and the desolate earth mounds were everywhere. From then on, it was difficult to see large tracts of forest to the north, and the only vegetation that could be seen was low shrubs. Before the disaster, there was already serious soil erosion here, and sandification had become an irresistible trend. A lot of manpower, material resources and financial resources had to be spent to stop it. But the disaster followed, and the entire land became completely desolate. Zhuang Cheng stood outside the car and watched the off-road vehicle leave, his expression calm. One of the nano warriors asked on the ground, "Squad leader, what should we do?" The squad leader thought for a moment and said, "We will continue to carry out the mission as planned." Originally, they were going to go deep into the northern river valley area. Yang Xiaojun and his team's joining was unplanned, so even if Yang Xiaojun left now, they would not panic. Zhuang Cheng smiled and looked at the nano warriors and said, "Maybe they have more important tasks, but it doesn't matter. I hope we can cooperate happily in the future." According to the established plan, Yang Xiaojun and Ren Xiaosu should follow the team to the east, where there is Shangying Mountain, Lianta Mountain, Dingyidan Mountain, all the way to the core area of the river valley area. After Yang Xiaojun changed the route this time, she will pass Dabin Mountain, Tangwang Mountain, Guanshan, and finally meet up with the team. This is what she had planned long ago, to see with her own eyes what the banditry in the River Valley area is like. Not long after the vehicle started, the two abandoned the car and walked. Although this was slow, they would not be recognized as members of the consortium at a glance. Yang Xiaojun even specially prepared slightly tattered clothes to make them look like refugees who had just escaped from Yang's factory. Yang Xiaojun said, "In fact, there are many small human settlements in the River Valley area. They are refugees who can't stand the exploitation of the consortium and have fled here. They barely live on the land near the water source. Aren't they afraid of bandits?" Ren Xiaosu asked. "The bandits deliberately left a lot of refugees in the river valley," Yang Xiaojun said. "They won't touch these refugees. I don't know who gave them the trick. Every time a consortium wants to encircle and suppress them, if they don't have time to hide, they will hide their weapons and hide in the refugee settlements, pretending that they are also refugees living there." Ren Xiaosu is surprised. "What's the use of this? For the consortium, people are also a kind of resource," Yang Xiaojun said. "When the Yang family first started to suppress the bandits, they saw refugee settlements and took them back to the market town and let them go back to the factory to work and continue to create value. Then, after a year or so, those bandits disguised as refugees will take some refugees back to the river valley. It's not easy to be a bandit either," Ren Xiaosu sighed. "I suspect someone is giving them advice behind the scenes," Yang Xiaojun said. "It may also be their own wisdom," Ren Xiaosu said, standing on a mound. "I'm not saying that the bandits don't have wisdom, but there must be a force behind them funding them," Yang Xiaojun said. "The ruins of the early disaster civilizations were dug up, and there aren't many things left. Merchants are scared and dare not come. So how did they survive all these years? We also found that these bandits often have more brand new guns and even brand new motorcycles. Some forces are particularly well informed. I don't believe that there is no financial group supporting them behind the scenes." Chapter 337 The Man Who Raised Bandits. Ren Xiaosu asked in confusion, "Is it the Zhong family? Did they say that the Zhong family is supporting them?" Yang Xiaojun shook her head. "No, those bandit forces that are supported by resources seem to be fighting against the Zhong family. That's why the Zhong family can't do anything about them. And those people are like rats, they are very hard to find." Originally, Ren Xiaosu's mind was still full of fog, but when Yang Xiaojun mentioned the word rat, he didn't know why he suddenly thought of Luolan. Although the two sides are very different in size, they have one thing in common, that is, they both like to go into the sewers. At this moment, Ren Xiaosu felt that he could probably guess who was supporting the bandit forces to disgust the Zhong family. If it was really as he guessed, then Qingzhen and Luolan's vision was much longer term than Yang's. After all, Yang's desire to unite with Zhong has only been a matter of 1 or 2 years, while these bandits have been disgusting Zhong for 5 or 6 years. If it was really Qingzhen and Luolan who did it, then how scheming must these two be? What are they after? Of course, Ren Xiaosu didn't know the whole story of the Qing family's change of ownership, nor did he know how much time Qingzhen had spent on this. Now it seems that the Zhong family is really disgusted, otherwise they wouldn't ask the Yang family and 178 barriers for help. After all, they raised bandits, but in the end they couldn't control them. Wouldn't it be a joke if they told others about it? Ren Xiaosu told Yang Xiaojun his guess. "I think it should be the Qing family who silently funded them behind the scenes." "It doesn't matter," Yang Xiaojun shook his head. "It has nothing to do with me. Your attitude towards the Yang family." Ren Xiaosu hesitated for a moment and didn't ask any more. "Don't worry about anything," Yang Xiaojun said. "The Yang family is becoming increasingly corrupt, and family affection has long been dispensable. Let's go to Dabin Mountain now. There are some small bandit dens and refugee settlements there. Are you familiar with this place?" Ren Xiaosu asked. "I'm quite familiar with the periphery," Yang Xiaojun said. "I used to come here often in the early years." Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment. "Why are you here?" "Practicing with a gun," Yang Xiaojun replied. At this time, Ren Xiaosu realized that Yang Xiaojun was actually practicing with bandits in the wilderness. No wonder Ren Xiaosu always felt that Yang Xiaojun was very similar to him sometimes, both like weeds in the wilderness. "Do you want to learn?" Yang Xiaojun looked at Ren Xiaosu. "I'll teach you." Ren Xiaosu raised his eyebrows. "I'm also very good at shooting. I don't know what kind of ability you have, but you can actually learn other people's skills directly," Yang Xiaojun said, but you haven't learned it all, your breathing method is wrong. Ren Xiaosu smiled. As expected, he was a perfect level gun master. He saw his shortcomings at a glance. Although he could replicate skills, there must be a big gap between advanced gun skills and perfect level. He didn't pretend anymore. How are you going to teach? Practical teaching, Yang Xiaojun said calmly. Ren Xiaosu muttered quietly, I thought you were teaching me step by step. What? Because Ren Xiaosu's voice was too low, Yang Xiaojun didn't hear what he said clearly. Ren Xiaosu said, it's okay. Yang Xiaojun glanced at him and said, how can I dress like a refugee? I'm good at this. You can't wear this cap anymore, Ren Xiaosu said, refugees don't wear caps. At this time, Yang Xiaojun took off his cap neatly. Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment. He rarely saw him take off his cap. Then what? Yang Xiaojun asked. Your hair is too neat. You don't need to deal with it too much. Just deal with it a little bit, Ren Xiaosu said as he looked at him. The clothes looked like that, but the details were different from those of refugees. Refugees cut their hair by themselves, so it was never neat, and no one took care of it. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Yang Xiaojun pull out the dagger from his sleeve and began to cut the ends of his hair without hesitation, and then messed it up. Yang Xiaojun originally had short hair that was at the level of her chin, neat and tidy, but after being cut with a dagger, the ends of her hair looked like they had been gnawed by a dog. Although she could get it back to its original state in a month or two, Ren Xiaosu was surprised that Yang Xiaojun didn't care about her image at all in order to pretend to be more like a refugee. He knew that some girls in the fortress cherished their hair as much as they cherished their lives. This Yang Xiaojun was too reckless. Yang Xiaojun shook her head. Now, do you look a little bit like her? Yes, it looks a bit like her, Ren Xiaosu said with a smile. The face is still a little clean, and the lining of the clothes is also a little clean, but it doesn't matter. As you said, it will take us another day to reach Tabin Mountain. After walking in this wilderness full of loess for a day, nothing will be clean. Okay, Yang Xiaojun nodded, let's work together on our story. If we get to a human settlement, people will ask about our relationship so that we won't be exposed. How old are you this year? It seemed that the two of them asked more personal questions for the first time until today. They had never discussed these things before. In Jingshan, they discussed what was in the mountains. In Barrier 109, they discussed Li's technological breakthroughs, and these days they discussed the banditry in the river valley. It seems that they have never seriously understood each other, and it seems that no one cares about this. Ren Xiaosu vaguely remembered that Yang Xiaojun should be 18 years old, and he was 17. If he told the truth, he would probably have to call Yang Xiaojun sister, which would be a disadvantage. Ren Xiaosu pondered, I'm 20 years old this year. Yang Xiaojun nodded, well, I'm 21 years old this year, you can just call me sister, but don't let it slip when you meet someone. Ren Xiaosu. This is a lie with open eyes, right? In the past, Ren Xiaosu always tricked others. Why was he tricked by others today? You are 21 years old. Ren Xiaosu was not convinced. Take out your ID card so I can see it. Lost? Yang Xiaojun said nonchalantly, okay, don't worry about these details, you lied first. Ren Xiaosu suffered a loss, and the two of them headed northwest. He was still thinking about how to get back the place. In the vast wilderness, the two people were like two small black dots, and the hills of the earth were like waves, as if rolling on the ground. In the evening, the shadows of the two people were stretched very long on the ground, and the sparse clouds in the distance that connected to the ground burned all the way to the top of their heads. At night, the stars in the sky are like a sea, as if they are within reach. Yang Xiaojun said as she hurried on her way, I'm hungry. Ren Xiaosu echoed, me too. That's not what I want to hear. Why didn't you bring any supplies? How can a refugee bring supplies? I am a refugee now, Yang Xiaojun said confidently. Besides, I don't need to bring any supplies since you are with me. Horizontal ellipsis. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 338 Snipers are born. Snipers are born. Yang Xiaojun lay down behind a mound, completely covered in bushes and grass. If you look down from the sky, it is difficult for anyone to notice that there is a person here. At this time, Yang Xiaojun said to Ren Xiaosu, who was also lying next to him, according to our training, a person's sense of balance and the stability of higher nervous activity are determined from the day they are born. These words may not conform to the scientific names of biology, but we are used to calling them that. It's not just talent, but also personality. Personality is also difficult to cultivate and change, Yang Xiaojun said. Personality measurement has 16 factors and characteristics. The first is introversion and extroversion. If calculated on a 10-point scale, in the profession of sniper, 0 represents introversion and indecision, and 10 represents adventurous and daring. A sniper should be higher than 5 points and lower than 8 points in the score. The best is 8 points. Ren Xiaosu asked, "How many points did you get?" 8 points, Yang Xiaojun replied. In fact, this answer was also within Ren Xiaosu's expectations. After all, perfect gun skills must be perfect in every aspect. If there is a flaw, it cannot be called perfect. Let's talk about the acquired training methods, Yang Xiaojun said. You must keep your body steady and breathe evenly. This is all for the moment when you finally pull the trigger, so that the bullet hits the place you want it to reach. At that moment, even all the hormones secreted in your body must serve this bullet. All of this requires long-term training to achieve. There is also biofeedback training. When a sniper encounters a situation, his heart rate must not accelerate and his body sweat like ordinary people, Yang Xiaojun said. Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment. How can this thing be trained? This is against biological instincts, right? No wonder Yang Xiaojun's personality seems a bit cold. A closer look at the strong self-control behind it actually reveals a calmness that completely restrains instincts. Just like when she was covering for Ren Xiaosu on the roof before, she could continue to pull the trigger calmly when she saw that the experimental subject was about to touch her, and then left at the last moment. Luo Xinai was almost scared to death that day. She almost thought she couldn't pick up Yang Xiaojun. Yang Xiaojun said, there are methods for biofeedback training. For example, one of my training contents was to immerse both arms in 2 buckets of water, one with cold water and the other with hot water. After training to a certain level, I can even use psychological suggestion to make one hand 2 degrees higher in temperature than the other hand. Ren Xiaosu was surprised and said, this works? Can you do it now? Let me try it. Yang Xiaojun rolled his eyes at him. The purpose of this training is not to cool down the hands, but to let the sniper master his instincts. When he wants to take a deep breath, his heart rate will drop immediately. Ren Xiaosu realized at this time that the difference between his sniping level and Yang Xiaojun's was not a little bit. That was the success that Yang Xiaojun had exchanged for several years. How could it be copied by a basic level map? No wonder even the perfect level map can only copy master level skills, because if each skill wants to break through to perfection, it must be done by himself. A lot of effort. Of course, this excludes the skill of irritating people, which seems to be innate and does not need to be practiced. Ren Xiaosu asked curiously, why do you, a girl, want to practice with firearms? I like it, Yang Xiaojun said, it is the power to protect myself. This sentence made Ren Xiaosu suddenly feel that only people who lack a sense of security will seek power to protect themselves. Is it hard? Ren Xiaosu sighed. It would be a lie to say it's not hard, Yang Xiaojun said, but I enjoy it. Why did you come to the wilderness to practice with firearms before? Ren Xiaosu asked. For desensitization training, Yang Xiaojun explained, it is to avoid psychological reactions when seeing corpses, blood, and death. Ren Xiaosu looked at Yang Xiaojun in a daze, and he wondered what this girl had experienced. At this time, Yang Xiaojun wondered, we have been waiting for a day, why haven't any bandits passed by? This was the only way for bandits in the past. They have been lying here for a day. On the one hand, Yang Xiaojun wanted to see if Ren Xiaosu had the corresponding qualities to become a sniper, and on the other hand, they were here to observe the movements of the bandits. As a result, Yang Xiaojun found that Ren Xiaosu seemed to be as tolerant as she was. He had been lying in the bushes for more than 8 hours, and he didn't even change his posture. What surprised Yang Xiaojun the most was that although Ren Xiaosu didn't change his posture and didn't move at all, she could clearly feel that Ren Xiaosu had been tightening his muscles and then relaxing them. This was to promote his blood circulation and keep his muscles in a relaxed state. Yang Xiaojun had no doubt that if there was danger at this time, Ren Xiaosu, who had been lying for a day, could still quickly enter a high-intensity battle. I don't know how this boy trained. She slowly got up from the ground. Let's go. There may be something wrong with the bandit's nest here. Let's go and take a look. As she said, Yang Xiaojun walked in the direction she remembered. An hour later, she stood in a valley and frowned at the white skeleton there. Surrounding them were earthen kilns dug by bandits, with wooden tables, chairs and benches inside, but they had lost their original color and were covered with a layer of solidified black. That was the state of blood after drying for a long time. This place has been robbed, Yang Xiaojun said. I don't know who did it. There are bullets and shells on the ground. The guns and motorcycles have all been stolen. Ren Xiaosu looked at the bones on the ground. It was as if a wild beast had been here. There were still teeth marks of wild beasts on the bones. Are there any women in the bandit den? Most of them do. They will go to the market town or factory to rob women back, Yang Xiaojun said. There are no skeletons of women or children here, Ren Xiaosu said. It should have been robbed by other bandit dens. It's strange that someone would target such a poor group of bandits. Yang Xiaojun said, it seems that the river valley area is not so peaceful now. There are also problems among the bandits. They didn't fight each other before. The people who supported them with funds have been maintaining a certain balance and order behind the scenes. Is there anyone integrating the bandits in this river valley area? Is this possible? Ren Xiaosu asked. It's possible, but we need to go to other places to observe to be sure, Yang Xiaojun replied. Let's go. There is no value here. The two continued to move northwest, and ahead was Daba Mountain. In Yang Xiaojun's memory, there would be the first small human settlement on their way. Chapter 339, Internal Strife in the Bandit Den. Pay attention to your breathing, Yang Xiaojun said. Your lungs will quickly change your posture after taking in air. It may not be obvious, but for a sniper, every failure in the details will be fatal. The hawk is flying too high, so you can only wait for it to circle downwards and seize the opportunity to close the distance. This opportunity is fleeting. For a sniper, when the opportunity comes, it is time to make a decision, and there can be no hesitation. With a bang, Ren Xiaosu pulled the trigger at the hawk high in the sky. The huge recoil of the sniper rifle and the air waves discharged from the barrel raised a huge smoke and dust on the yellow ground around him. This is Yang Xiaojun's firearm, which she materialized and gave to Ren Xiaosu. Today is Ren Xiaosu's actual combat training, shooting at the hawk in the sky, but from the beginning Yang Xiaojun gave him the highest difficulty, asking him to shoot the hawk's head. After one shot, the falcon was fine, and flew away frightened by the gunshot. Yang Xiaojun's mouth curled up slightly. Do you still think you are good with firearms? Ren Xiaosu pretended to be puzzled. I obviously hit its brain. Why is it okay? Maybe because it is mutated. Come on. Yang Xiaojun curled her lips. No matter how mutated it is just a falcon, not a gene-edited product controlled by the Spark Company, and it can't stop sniper bullets. You said you hit its head. Why is it okay? Ren Xiaosu pondered. Maybe it has no brain. Yang Xiaojun put away the sniper rifle. You can't shoot if you go forward. The sound of the sniper rifle is too loud and will attract the attention of the bandits. Yet, Ren Xiaosu nodded. He has heard a lot of advanced knowledge about firearms in the past 2 days, and he still needs a lot of practice. He has already wasted a day on the road because of practicing shooting, and Yang Xiaojun doesn't seem to be in a hurry, not in a hurry at all, and patiently accompanies him to practice shooting. But now the task of suppressing bandits is obviously more important, and he doesn't need to rush to practice shooting. If we encounter a refugee settlement, will they welcome us? Ren Xiaosu asked curiously. Not to the point of welcoming, but not to the point of rejecting, Yang Xiaojun said. Everyone is barely farming with water sources. You grow your crops, I grow mine. Many refugees just escaped without bringing food. They will use the money they saved from the factory to buy some food and seeds. After all, it takes a long time for crops to grow. This is what the refugees in the settlement want to see. Moreover, new refugees joining will also bring information from the outside world. I didn't encounter any bandits along the way. It's strange, Ren Xiaosu frowned. Not seeing bandits in a place where bandits are rampant is like not seeing fish in the sea. There must be something unusual happening in this river valley. Look, Yang Xiaojun said suddenly after climbing over a hill, pointing in front of him, and saw a small river winding through the land in front of him. and many refugees were digging canals by the river. This was to dig new canals that could irrigate crops before the arrival of spring. When the refugees saw Yang Xiaojin and Ren Xiaosu, they realized that they were dressed like refugees, so they felt relieved. These people are very smart. If you are a person from the fortress, they can tell at a glance. Just like Ren Xiaosu said, it all depends on the details. When Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojin approached, before they could speak, an ant wiped her sweat and said, "Want to buy sorghum seeds? It's just in time for spring planting." Buy. Ren Xiaosu took out a cloth bag from his arms, and after flipping through several layers, he saw some small change inside. The refugees felt more relieved when they saw this scene. How could the big shots in the fortress pretend to be so real? But some people were still worried. Where did you escape from? Ren Xiaosu cursed and said, "At the mine, they originally said that you would get 21 yuan for carrying a ton of coal, but it suddenly dropped to 20 yuan and 60 cents, and they also deducted some material fees. It's really unbearable." A refugee laughed. "It's not as good as when I was in the mine." At this moment, an ant suddenly said, "But you two are escaping at the wrong time now." Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojin were both stunned. They had been scheming each other for a long time before, just to argue about who was older and who was younger. In the end, Ren Xiaosu suffered the loss of being the younger brother and Yang Xiaojin being the older sister. But the negotiation was very good, and their identities changed all of a sudden here. Refugees get married very early, and have children early, so that the children can help the family with work when they grow up. Everyone thinks so, so the two of them look young in the barrier, and they look just the right age to get married here. Moreover, in this day and age, who would escape together if they were not a couple? If someone escapes and is reported by others, the others can get rewards. This caught the two of them off guard. Ren Xiaosu secretly glanced at Yang Xiaojin, not knowing how Yang Xiaojin would react. If Yang Xiaojin insisted on explaining and aroused the suspicion of the refugees, then they should retreat. It would not be a problem to find a way into the river valley. However, Yang Xiaojin smiled and did not explain her identity. Instead, she acquiesced. "Why are we here at the wrong time? Is there something wrong? Let me tell you, the bandit den in the north is in chaos recently, and many people have been killed," the ant said earnestly. "We are all very panicked. I don't know if it will affect us." "What's wrong with the bandit den?" Ren Xiaosu asked curiously. "We are just farming. Who can do anything to us? I heard that there are 3 gangs in the north who are not getting along. They all want to integrate the big and small bandits in this river valley area. 2 gangs are particularly fierce, and it seems that there are also extraordinary people. They will kill anyone who does not submit to them," the ant explained. "I'll tell you in advance that it's okay for you and your wife to stay here, and you can farm together, but if any bandits come to ask whether you surrender or not, everyone has to say yes, and don't go against them." "Okay," Ren Xiaosu agreed. "What if this group of people leaves and another group comes?" The ant waved her hand. "We will surrender to whoever comes, no matter what, as long as they let us farm. This is the survival rule of refugees. Be submissive and don't cause trouble. You bandits can fight each other as you want, and you will submit to whoever comes. Anyway, those bandits don't care about their seeds and crops anymore. I don't know why, even though there is no one to rob, those bandits are getting richer and richer, and their equipment is getting better and better. Last year, the Zhong family's regular army came to the river valley area, but they were beaten to pulp by several groups of bandits. How can ordinary bandits do this? Bandits who can beat the regular army are still bandits." Exclamation mark. Chapter 340, The Expanded Bandits. There are only a few hundred refugees in this small settlement. Ren Xiaosu saw children running around at the door of the earthen kiln in the distance. It seems that this small settlement has been formed for quite some time. There are many small rivers in the river valley. In Ren Xiaosu's opinion, places with rivers should be lush and green, but the river valley is not like that. The ground is sandy over a large area. When the river passes by, it will wash away the soil on both sides. Maybe in a few years, this riverbed will form a new valley. When the dry season or the river changes course, it will leave a valley like a scar on the ground. The whole land seems to be cut out by the water. The place chosen by the refugees is relatively flat and suitable for growing some crops. Originally, Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojin planned to live here for a while and get to know the banditry in the whole area with the refugees here. As they were talking, smoke and dust suddenly rose from the ground in the distance. From a distance, They thought it was a small sandstorm. An auntie asked nervously, "Why are there people coming again? Whose family are they this time?" Ren Xiaosu asked, "Are they bandits?" "Of course they are bandits. The smoke and dust are the sand raised by their motorcycles," the auntie said as she ran towards the earthen kill. She also shouted, "Hurry up and take the child back to the kill." The bandit group in the distance was approaching quickly. Gradually, everyone could see their figures. The motorcycles they sat on were as muscular as beasts, and the sound of the engine and exhaust pipe was like the roar of beasts. This scene was particularly rough and violent. From a distance, people could hear the excited roars of these bandits. They saw these refugees as if they saw prey. Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun looked at each other and mixed in with the refugee group, intending to wait and see. The refugees seemed to have had experience in dealing with it. After hiding the children, they lined up on the flat land, as if they were welcoming their superiors, but the team was crooked and everyone was in a different mood. Ren Xiaosu counted and found that there were more than 20 bandits in this group. They were not a big force in the whole valley. It was just that no one knew how many people were hiding in their lair. However, the bandits were seen riding motorcycles and roaring around the refugees. This was a demonstration by the bandits. They rode in circles, and the circle they made was getting smaller and smaller. The refugees could only huddle together in fear. Gradually, when the refugees showed fear on their faces, the bandit team gradually stopped. A man jumped off the motorcycle and pulled down the scarf he used to cover his mouth. "Are you farming here?" Yes, a refugee said in panic. "I have been farming here for several years." "What's the point of farming?" The bandit spat on the ground, spit out the sand in his mouth, and then laughed. "I see there are a lot of men here. Real men should be born with lofty ambitions. What's the point of hiding here and farming every day in fear?" "But what will we eat if we don't farm?" the refugee whispered. "We just want to grow some crops to feed ourselves. From today on, you will follow me." The bandit leader patted the face of the refugee in front of him. "Follow me, you will eat and drink well. In the past, the consortium bullied you, but now follow me to bully the consortium." Ren Xiaosu observed these people. Just as Yang Xiaojun said, their motorcycles were 80% new, and the automatic firearms in their hands were newer than their motorcycles. It was obvious that they had just updated their equipment not long ago. What was even more exaggerated was that many of them carried 2 guns on their backs, as if they had too many guns and had nowhere to use them. Perhaps the new equipment gave the bandits confidence, and more than 20 people dared to bully the consortium. When the refugees heard that these people were going to fight the consortium, they were even more scared. "We don't fight the consortium, we only know how to farm." However, the bandit leader's face sank. "We have to fight even if we don't want to. Brothers, take them all back." Ren Xiaosu was stunned. It turned out that they were here to rob people. Maybe there were too many guns, so now there were more guns than people, so this group of bandits wanted to expand their scale. This must be related to the internal strife in the northern bandit end. The entire river valley area is now in chaos, and everyone is starting to break the rules. "Are you going with them?" Ren Xiaosu asked in a low voice. "Let's go," Yang Xiaojun responded. "Maybe we can learn more about the current situation in the river valley. Besides, there are only more than 20 of them. If we want to leave, they can't stop us at all. I mean, why don't we just kill them?" Ren Xiaosu muttered. With guns pointed at them, the refugees had no choice but to return to the kill and take their children with them, and were forced to move north. The bandit leader rode a motorcycle beside the team, the motorcycle clattering, and he shouted proudly, "Don't think that I, Jin Lan, am overbearing. You are the outermost settlement in the river valley, so you don't know the situation. Now the people in the settlements in the north have been robbed by the various hills. Even if we don't take you away today, others will come tomorrow. But we don't know how to fight," the refugees said with a sad face. "Who doesn't know how to fight? I'll give you a gun, so you don't have to save bullets for me, just shoot. And it doesn't matter if you don't want to fight, you can still do other things," Jin Lan said with a laugh. I don't know what Jin Lan meant by other things, but this sentence confirmed Ren Xiaosu's guess. It seems that there really have too many guns and bullets to use up, so they rob people. However, Ren Xiaosu wondered how much ammunition Qingzhen and his men had put here. Why did the whole river valley seem to be in a mess? If this goes on, many people will definitely die in the river valley. Big fish eat small fish, and small fish eat shrimps. It has been like this since ancient times. After the war subsides, I am afraid that the entire river valley will be integrated and a very large bandit organization will be born. Is this Qing Zhen's purpose? To use killing to filter out the impurities in the river valley, so as to achieve the goal of integrating the bandits in the entire river valley? And then hold this power in his hands? And he only put a batch of guns and bullets, and a group of bandits all swelled up. Automatic rifles are rare among bandits, but the consortium knows that guns and bullets are the least valuable. Although there is no evidence, Ren Xiaosu has determined that it must be Qing Zhen who did it, and it will not be anyone else. Moreover, Ren Xiaosu was very sure that there must be a backup plan of Qing Zhen in this river valley area, which was the power he would use to integrate the bandits in the end. At this time, because the Yang family was fighting with the Li family in the south, the northern defense was empty, and each barrier could only leave an independent regiment at most. If this bandit army went south, the barrier would definitely not be broken, but if they wanted to destroy all the factories outside the barrier, I am afraid that the Yang family's economy would be suffocated for 3 years at once. At this time, the Yang family probably thought that the northern bandits were not to be feared. After all, which consortium would take the bandits seriously and let them play in the mud in the river valley area? It would be very troublesome for the Zhuang family and the Yang family to be enemies with such opponents. Gideon's new book Global Super God System is a light-hearted and funny book. Chapter 341 It's Mine. More than 20 bandits were able to coerce hundreds of refugees, and Ren Xiaosu did not see any signs of resistance from these refugees. The bandit leader Jin Lan was still chattering, "Don't worry, Jin Lan, went to school for 2 years in the market town. I am not a reckless man who kills without blinking an eye. I won't do anything to you." At this time, someone was making fun of him. Yes, our old man is knowledgeable, and those people in other hills can't compare to him at all. Jin Lan smiled modestly, "It's not that exaggerated. After all, Jin Lan, brought you back to the hill to give you a good life. Look at how thin you are, especially you." As he said that, he pointed his finger at Ren Xiaosu. "Look at how thin you are, with a pale face and skinny body, and you don't seem to have any strength at all." Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a long time. He looked at his body. Since the balance of strength and agility was achieved, he looked a little thin. Yang Xiaojin was laughing beside him, as if he had heard something very interesting. Jin Lan didn't care about Ren Xiaosu's reaction, and kept muttering, "You just don't know how fierce the fighting in the north is, and you don't know where the forces came from. The more you fight, the more fierce it is. You can only survive by following me, you know." Ren Xiaosu looked at her speechlessly. They were escorted by more than 20 bandits and walked more than 10 miles of mountain roads before they finally arrived at the camp of these bandits. The camp was extremely simple, just a circle of wooden fences surrounded an open space on the mountain. There were some earthen houses in the camp, and there were big holes in the roofs. Except for the new weapons, everything else was broken. Ren Xiaosu could imagine how miserable these people were before they received support from the Qing family. But now it was different. There were dozens of brand new motorcycles parked in the open space of the camp, and dozens of green painted oil drums were placed next to them. Next to the oil drums were boxes of weapons. Grenades and bullets were all piled next to the oil drums. If something exploded there, it was estimated that the weapons would engulf the entire mountain in an instant. Seeing this scene, Ren Xiaosu was a little worried. He should not be fooled to death by these bandits. That would be unfair, okay? But then, he saw these bandits who had just returned home, planning to make a fire and cook less than 10 meters away from the oil barrel. Ren Xiaosu's hair stood on end at that time. He whispered to Yang Xiaojin, "If there are really other hilltops attacking, I'm afraid these people will die without knowing how they died. Even the Zhuang family can't beat such bandits." However, even if you look at the miserable situation of Jin Lan's bandits before, you can understand that Jin Lan and his group are probably the worst group of bandits in the entire river valley area. They can't even eat one meal a day. At this time, Jin Lan suddenly said, "If you are willing to fight with me, Jin, go to the side to get a gun. I'll give you a chance to choose." Ren Xiaosu was shocked at that time. How did this guy occupy the hilltop? Isn't he afraid that these refugees will kill him directly with a gun? What shocked Ren Xiaosu was that more than 30 men finally got the guns, but after they got the guns, they just squatted aside and continued to listen to Jin Lan's lecture. They had no idea of resisting at all. Everything in front of him was just like the absurd fantasy novels he had read in the 88 Barrier Library, even weirder than the novels. Those refugees were told to obey and listen since they were young, and they would be beaten if they didn't. They didn't have the courage to resist the consortium. No matter which mountain went to their settlement, they subconsciously chose to surrender. This was a habit imposed on them by the miserable life. At this time, one of Jinlan's men came to Ren Xiaosu. He was stunned when he saw Yang Xiaojun. Although Yang Xiaojun deliberately blackened his face, it was still difficult to hide his background. The bandit said excitedly, "This girl is pretty. If she washes her face, she will be very pretty. I will give her to her." Ren Xiaosu sighed when he heard this. Bandits are bandits after all. He said, "Excuse me, I have to interrupt you." The next moment, Ren Xiaosu suddenly jumped up and broke the bandit's right ribs with one punch when the bandit was completely unprepared. The bandit's chest collapsed instantly. The people around were shocked. They said that the breaking was really breaking bones. What kind of breaking method is this? Physical breaking? Exclamation mark. Jinlan and others were originally making a fire, but they were shocked by this scene. They wanted to pick up the guns around them to defend themselves. But Ren Xiaosu didn't stop at all. Before Jinlan could touch the gun, Ren Xiaosu had already come in front of him and kicked him in the face. Jinlan subconsciously turned over and leaned back. It was this action that saved his life, but his whole head was buzzing. Continuous gunshots rang out. Yang Xiaojun held a delicate pistol in his hand to cover Ren Xiaosu. The bandits who picked up the guns suddenly felt their palms numb, and all the wrists holding the guns were bleeding. The refugees around were all dumbfounded. Who on earth were the newly joined couple? Some smart bandits had already knelt on the ground with a thud. Superhuman. Spare my life. The speed and strength displayed by Ren Xiaosu were absolutely superior to ordinary people, so the bandits were not stupid and knew very well what they were facing. And Yang Xiaojun's gunmanship was a kind of shock that could be felt directly. Jinlan knelt on the ground with stars in his eyes and blood flowing from his nose. "Brother, spare my life. Brother, spare my life. It's all a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. We have just been bandits for a short time and have never killed anyone." Ren Xiaosu looked around and found that this group of chickens and clay dogs were all kneeling on the ground, consciously throwing their guns far away. What kind of bandits are these? Don't they have any blood at all? Ren Xiaosu frowned at Jinlan and said, "How did you become a bandit?" Jinlan wiped the blood from his nose and almost cried. "We were originally farming in Tangwang Mountain in the north, but someone said that if we became bandits, we would be given guns, motorcycles and food, so we went up the mountain to become bandits. We have only been bandits for 2 months." Ren Xiaosu was speechless for a long time. What on earth was the Qing family going to do? Jinlan looked at Ren Xiaosu and said, "Brother, you will be the big brother of this mountain from now on. I hope you can lead us to become bigger and stronger." Wait a minute, Ren Xiaosu covered his forehead. What a mess. Jinlan smiled flatteringly. "You don't know, there is a group of bandits in the north who are particularly fierce, because their eldest brother is a superhuman, and you are also a superhuman. You can definitely do better than him and be more powerful than him." Chapter 342, Fishing Enforcement. Ren Xiaosu originally wanted to stay in this mountain village for a while and wait and see, but Yang Xiaojun's appearance was indeed easy to attract the bandits. If it weren't for this, he wouldn't have suddenly taken action. But if he took action, he had to eliminate the trouble forever, so he wouldn't learn to be merciful like the people in the fortress. But the turn of events seemed a bit unexpected. After Ren Xiaosu found that Jinlan and others were overthrown, they didn't resent him or say anything cruel. Instead, they subconsciously wanted to let themselves, the extraordinary person, lead them to become bigger and stronger. What kind of thinking is this? Exclamation mark. Seeing a group of bandits next to them shouting "Big Brother," even the refugees were stunned. They didn't expect such a turn of events to happen. It was at this time that they realized that Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun were not ordinary people. The couple came to their settlement not to farm at all. Maybe they were bandits from another mountain. Yang Xiaojun was on guard at the side. She was responsible for preventing someone from secretly shooting and fighting back. But after waiting for a while, she found that this group of people really wanted to recognize Ren Xiaosu as their big brother. Suppress bandits, how come he became the big brother of bandits? But the first thing Ren Xiaosu said was, "Hurry up and move the munitions and oil drums away. You put a bunch of munitions together. Aren't you afraid of blowing yourself up?" Jinlan, who was bleeding from the nose, quickly stood up. "Listen to the big brother, Move the things away quickly, don't put them here to get in the way of the big brother. Yang Xiaojun came to Ren Xiaosu and looked at the group of people busying about. She whispered, how will it end? Ren Xiaosu pondered for a long time. Do you think this logic is right? We are here to suppress bandits. Yes. We are here to find out where the bandits are hiding so that we can catch them all in one fell swoop. Yes. Then you see, if we go to great lengths to find them and then draw a topographic map or something, Ren Xiaosu said, when the troops of the Zong and Yang families come to kill us, we may still not be able to find them. These bandits are like rats, and the hills and valleys cut by the river in this river valley area are like sewers. It is really easy for the regular army to come here to fight and win. Just send more people, and the bandits are nothing. Ren Xiaosu doesn't believe the legend that the Zong family was beaten to pulp. The Zong family must have other purposes. However, if the regular army is not familiar with the terrain here, it is also impossible to wipe out the bandits. Strictly speaking, it is not impossible, but it is not cost-effective. So what? Yang Xiaojun looked at Ren Xiaosu. We let the bandits come to us. Ren Xiaosu made his decision. At this time, Yang Xiaojun didn't realize what would happen. The main reason was that Ren Xiaosu's brain circuits were different from others, and generally speaking, it was impossible to guess what he was thinking. Ren Xiaosu looked at the refugees. Let's go back and farm. The refugees were stunned for a moment. Can we go back and farm? They thought Ren Xiaosu would be the boss on this hill, and they would continue to be captives. After all, the bandits in this river valley are all the same. As a result, Ren Xiaosu actually wanted to take them back to farm? Yes, Ren Xiaosu said happily. Haven't you dug the canal? After the canal is dug, we have to farm. Now we have weapons, but we can choose not to be bandits. We take up weapons to protect our crops and prevent other bandits from harming us. The refugees were stunned, but still did not dare to take up weapons, as if they would face disaster after taking up weapons. Not everyone likes fighting and killing. The reason they choose to escape and farm is because they want to avoid everything in the outside world and find a piece of pure land for themselves. There are ruthless people like Ren Xiaosu among the refugees, and there are also cowardly people. But they cannot be simply summarized as cowardly people. It can only be said that they are unwilling to fight bravely and fiercely with others. Ren Xiaosu said, we will never attack anyone, but if you don't even have the means to protect yourself, then don't even think about farming in peace. Think about your family and your children. When the word children was mentioned, some refugees were touched. They were used to comfort and had realized that the river valley was no longer as safe as in previous years, and the bandits would come to attack them. Just like today, the bandits said they were coming to take them away, and they didn't even have the ability to fight back. Their children also suffered, and their wives might become someone else's wives. Weapons can be used for invasion, and they can also be used for protection. Some refugees slowly picked up brand new guns, but they didn't even know how to use them yet, and they could only hold them to give themselves courage. But when they held the cold guns in their arms, they seemed to really feel safe. Ren Xiaosu fooled the refugees and took Jinlan and others back the same way. Yang Xiaojun took him on a motorcycle. Just now, when others were not paying attention, Ren Xiaosu threw a whole box of grenades into the storage space. The power of a hand grenade is about the same as that of a 4-3 popping poker, which can also save Ren Xiaosu a lot of gratitude coins. After returning to the settlement, Ren Xiaosu gave Jinlan and others a task. You were all refugees before, so don't think about being bandits for now. Just stay here and farm for me. Do you hear me? Jinlan and others looked bitter. Other people on the mountain were robbing refugees to become bandits, but the bandits on their side were robbed by refugees to farm. Yang Xiaojun watched the refugees start to dig the canal again, and she asked, what do you want to do with these refugees and bandits? Ren Xiaosu looked at the sky and smiled. Wait for the wind to come. At this moment, there was another noisy dust sweeping in from the distance. Yang Xiaojun looked at the group of bandits whistling and suddenly asked, are you waiting for them to come to your door? Just like Ren Xiaosu said, it was too slow to find these people one by one. According to Jinlan, all the bandits are trying to expand their power, not letting go of any human settlement, and robbing anyone they see. So why should Ren Xiaosu go looking for these bandits? He can just wait for the bandits from Dabin Mountain, Tangwang Mountain, and Guangshan to come to him. Fishing enforcement. But this can only catch some small bandits in the south, Yang Xiaojun said with a smile. It's okay, I'm really afraid that the big bandits will come now. Don't worry, we will be able to beat the bigger bandits soon, Ren Xiaosu said with high spirits. When this group of new bandits arrived, the refugees who had just returned to the settlement were a little panicked and didn't know what to do. They just came home, and they were going to be captured by other bandits again? However, when they were panicking, they saw Ren Xiaosu rushing towards the bandits with an excited look on his face. Just looking at Ren Xiaosu's expression, they thought it was a relative coming. Yang Xiaojun had already set up her sniper rifle on the high slope, ready to provide long-range cover for Ren Xiaosu. She looked through the scope at the group of bandits who didn't know what was going to happen, and suddenly felt that this bandit suppression trip would be very interesting. At least it would be much more interesting than the previous times she came here. Chapter 343, People at the Barrier 178. Fishing enforcement is a technical job. Originally, Ren Xiaosu planned to go deeper into the hinterland of the river valley area, but he thought carefully. If he encountered a large bandit organization with a scale of hundreds of people, he and Yang Xiaojun might not be able to deal with it. Even now, dozens of people come every day, and Ren Xiaosu and his team can't even make a splash. What is a perfect gunmaster? If you can't even control such a small scene, you are not a perfect gunmaster. At this time, Ren Xiaosu felt the joy of having teammates to cover him. He didn't even have to worry about whether someone would sneak attack him, because the sneak attack on him would definitely not be able to withstand the sniper. Of course, Ren Xiaosu was also thinking about how to integrate Jinlan's group. Don't look at them being respectful now, that's because this group of people can't beat him, and the guns have been confiscated by him and other refugees, so they must be honest. If Jinlan seizes any opportunity again, he might make some tricks, but Ren Xiaosu hasn't figured out how to solve it yet. At this time, Jinlan and his former subordinates were squatting on the ground, watching Ren Xiaosu catch the new bandits, and whispering, "See, these are two dragons crossing the river. It was definitely a wise move for us not to confront them head-on. Especially look at that girl, she kills people without blinking an eye. I've only heard about her sniper rifle from others, but this is the first time I've seen it. Brother, we had a head-on fight, haven't we?" the subordinate asked. "Jinlan, you're the only one who talks too much nonsense. Brother, according to what you said, are these two people from the consortium?" the subordinate asked in confusion. "Are they masters of the consortium?" Jinlan shook his head. "No, they are much wilder than the consortium." "What if they are?" someone asked in confusion. "Otherwise, where did these masters come from? No one in the entire river valley has ever heard of anyone who can use a sniper rifle. Look at these two people, they don't care about their lives at all, and they don't even wash their faces. Can they be people from the barrier?" Jinlan continued to deny. How can the bigwigs in the barrier tolerate this? Just like Ren Xiaosu in the early years, their views on the barrier mostly exist in imagination. It is a stereotype solidified in the blood of all refugees. In their eyes, the people of the barrier are all the same. Of course, the people of the barrier also think they are all the same. Then where are they from? Someone asked in a low voice. Wait, Jinlan was stunned for a moment. Could they be from the 178th barrier? It is said that there are many experts from the 178th barrier. I think only people from the 178th barrier can have such experts. And it is said that many people from the 178th barrier were refugees in the early years. Damn, they are probably from the 178th barrier. Jinlan did the elimination process, and found that only the legend of the 178th barrier seemed to be more in line with the background of Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun, unpretentious, not as delicate as the people of the barrier, fierce, mysterious and powerful. It must be said that the 178th barrier has been rumored to be a bit magical in the northwest over the years, especially among the refugees. Jinlan said to himself, if it is really people from 178 who have come to the valley, then this is our chance. If we perform well, we may be able to enter the 178th barrier in the future. Now the 178th barrier does not accept outsiders, otherwise going to the 178th barrier is definitely 10,000 times better than being abandoned here. If he was from the consortium, Jinlan would not want to join him. After all, everyone knows what the consortium is like, and it would be a pain to go back. But Barrier 178 is different. It is a holy place in the hearts of many refugees in the northwest. At this time, Ren Xiaosu came back with a group of bandits with bruised faces and noses. He greeted Jinlan, "Have you finished your work?" I'm done. You tell me what to do." Jinlan was very happy this time. He was acting before, but this time he was sincere from the bottom of his heart. Ren Xiaosu threw him a pistol. "From now on, you will be the captain of the first team. Take care of these people." Jinlan was immediately moved. "Thank you, big brother." "Thanks from Jinlan, +1. Ren Xiaosu looked at Jinlan in surprise. He originally just wanted to test this guy, but what was the reason for this sincere thank you? Could it be that he really has the legendary leadership temperament and has already convinced this guy invisibly? Exclamation mark. He said to Jinlan, "You take away the guns of these people and educate them well. They will be our residents in the future." "Okay, don't worry." Jinlan said, "Brother, I want to ask you something, is it okay?" Ren Xiaosu glanced at him, "Ask. Where are you from?" Jinlan asked in a low voice, "You are not from this valley." Ren Xiaosu paused. He looked at Jinlan, "Is this something you can find out?" No, Jinlan said with a guilty conscience. As a result, Yang Xiaojun came over and said, "Don't worry about him for now, there's news from the northwest." Ren Xiaosu glanced at Jinlan, "Go and take care of them, let them recognize the reality, join us well, and have a bright future." Jinlan suppressed the excitement in his heart. He is really from the northwest, and he is really a big shot of the 178th barrier. He believes that Yang Xiaojun must have said it unintentionally, but he listened to it with intent. Now, everything is in line with his guess. After Jinlan left, Yang Xiaojun and Ren Xiaosu smiled at each other. They discussed last night how to deal with identities and whether they could use a certain identity to tie down these bandits, so they came up with a trick to pretend to be someone from Barrier 178. As a result, before they made any moves today, Jinlan bumped into them first, and the effect was better this way. What if there really is someone from Barrier 178 here? Yang Xiaojun asked. At most, I'll go to Barrier 178 to explain to Zhang Jinglan. Don't worry, nothing will happen, Ren Xiaosu said with a smile. Do you think the refugees in the northwest really like Barrier 178? Yes, Yang Xiaojun nodded. You used to be in the south, so you don't know how good Barrier 178 is in the eyes of these people. A powerful force that is willing to accept refugees equally is already a unique existence in the entire Northwest. But aren't they not accepting refugees now? Ren Xiaosu asked curiously. Yang Xiaojun replied, things that cannot be obtained are more sacred. Okay, Ren Xiaosu said with a smile, then let's keep it a secret and let this matter ferment freely and see the effect first. At this time, Jinlan had already walked towards the other bandits with a mysterious smile on his face. Someone asked, brother, you look very happy. You can't forget our original intention just because they gave you a gun. Jinlan said unhappily, you know shit. Am I such a superficial person? I tell you, they are really people with 178 barriers. Asking for monthly tickets, it seems that there is not much difference with the previous ones. Cough cough, monthly tickets today's recommended book, The Happy Life of Salted Fish, System Got Rich Text, Film and Television. My last name is Zhang, Arrogant Zhang. Chapter 344 Surrender Together. As soon as Jinlan finished speaking, his group of brothers were stunned, and all looked at each other in bewilderment. Brother, are they trying to trick you? No, Jinlan shook his head. They still want to keep it a secret, but I have discovered the truth from the clues. So what should we do now? The subordinates said, are we still going to run away? They definitely couldn't beat Ren Xiaosu by fighting, so Jinlan and his men were secretly discussing on the way, or they could run away at night when they were asleep, so that they could regain their freedom. However, now Jinlan changed his mind. Run away? I won't run away, I will settle down here. If I have the opportunity to go to the 178 barrier in the future, I will be rich. The others were also tempted, but will they let us go? So I want you to behave better. Jinlan said, okay, I'll go talk to the newcomers and ask them to be quiet. This is the first job that the eldest brother has given me, so I can't mess it up. The subordinates were silent. Well, the eldest brother already has a new eldest brother, what else can they say? Jinlan came to the new bandits and said with a smile, hello, which hill are you from? The west slope of Dabin Mountain, said a leader among the new bandits. Let me tell you, We have more than 50 brothers in our family. Let them go quickly, otherwise you will be in trouble when our brothers come. Jin Lan sneered, brother, who are you talking to? How dare you talk to the people of 178 barrier? You have more than 50 brothers in your family, so do you know how many brothers we have in 178 barrier? The man opposite Jin Lan was stunned. What the hell? People from 178 barrier? No wonder the young men and women who beat them up just now were so powerful. He looked at Jin Lan and asked in confusion, are you all from 178 barrier? Jin Lan paused, I am not. Then what are you talking to me about? The bandit said unhappily. But those two guys who beat you are. Jin Lan lowered his voice, brother, I used to be from Bipo, do you know Mushroom Ridge? Wait, the bandit on the opposite side was stunned and said, you were captured too? I've heard of the 20 or so people in Mushroom Ridge, and I heard that they had a miserable life. Jin Lan's face darkened at that moment, how can you talk like that? I have already turned to the light, see the gun on my waist, it was given by those two guys. From now on I will be your captain, so be smart. The bandit whispered, are those two really from barrier 178? How did you know? Jin Lan whispered, let me tell you, I discovered this myself, it's not false. Now think about it again, do you want to go back to your Zippo, or do you want to stay here and seek a future? At this point, the other party was already skeptical. No ordinary person would joke about barrier 178, and the powerful strength displayed by Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojin in the battle just now was indeed very frightening. Jin Lan whispered, at the beginning of winter last year, Master Su passed by here. Have you heard about this? Yes, I heard about it, the bandit leader's eyes lit up. Are these two people related to Master Su? I don't know about that, Jin Lan said. When Master Su passed by, a group of bandits were blind enough to rob him. 2 of them were crippled by magical means, and then the bandits were not convinced. More than 50 people failed to catch him. That flying black pot was amazing. I've heard about this too. It's true, the bandit leader said. I heard that Master Su has another ability, which is to summon shadows. Shadows are not as powerful as pots, Jin Lan said excitedly. I heard that the pot was so powerful that more than 50 people fired guns and shot for half an hour, but they couldn't break the pot. That's a bit exaggerated. I heard it took 2 minutes. Don't hold back on these details, Jin Lan said unhappily. Then the group of bandits regretted it very much. At that time, Mr. Su had not yet become successful. If they had promoted him then, they would have escaped from the sea of suffering long ago. Now, the opportunity is in front of us brothers, so I still advise you to be quiet. The key is you can be sure that the 2 of them are from the 178 barrier. The bandit leader was not convinced. They are both powerful, but I still don't quite believe in their identities. It's up to you, Jin Lan said bleakly. At this moment, he suddenly had a mentality of being sober while everyone else is drunk. However, at this moment, Jin Lan saw a black shadow flash by in a ditch. He thought he was dazzled, so he asked the people next to him, did you see anything just now? It seems like there was a black shadow, very fast, someone said. The bandits who were just captured today laughed. They are afraid that our brothers at home are worried, so they come to support us. Bullshit, Jin Lan said, do you have such a good relationship? Some bandits hurriedly ran along the ditch, and Jin Lan followed behind them for fear that they would run away. In the end, no one found anything. Some people continued to chase them unwillingly. Before they ran for 2 minutes, they suddenly saw Ren Xiaosu talking to a shadow face to face. The shadow that seemed to be a real entity handed Ren Xiaosu a letter and then ran into the wilderness. There were many people following behind Jin Lan, and they all saw this scene. You said before that Master Su had another ability. Someone asked in a trembling voice, the abilities of extraordinary people are not repeated, right? I know this. Jin Lan whispered, hurry up, they chose such a hidden place and they must not want to be discovered. If they find out that we have seen it, they might kill us to silence us. However, before they left, Ren Xiaosu raised his head and suddenly found Jin Lan and others. His face sank, as if he was gradually boiling with murderous intent. Jin Lan knelt on the ground all of a sudden. Brother, I didn't see anything, don't kill me, don't kill me. Suddenly, a group of people knelt behind Jin Lan, fearing that Ren Xiaosu would kill to silence them. Ren Xiaosu slowly walked up to Jin Lan and the others, and after a long silence, he said, okay, let's get up, keep it a secret. Jinlan and the others were moved to tears. Thank you, brother, for not killing us. Thank you, brother, for not killing us. Thanks from Jinlan, +1. From. In this wave alone, Ren Xiaosu received more than 10 thank you coins, and the number of thank you coins returned to more than 900. Jinlan and the others got up and ran towards the settlement. On the way, Jinlan asked breathlessly, "Are you still going to run? Do you believe it now?" But the new bandit next to him said, "Can I go home for a while?" Jinlan was stunned, still running. "No, I'll go call all the brothers at home, and we'll surrender together." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 345 depends on mood. Since he had a bright and far-reaching future, he naturally had to think about his brothers. It was difficult for bandits to have a good end. If someone hadn't suddenly provided money and materials to support this desolate place, their current life would be quite difficult. In the past 5 years, no caravans have passed through the entire river valley area. If they want to eat, they must rob other bandits. If they continue to fight day by day, when will it end? 3 years ago, when they were the poorest, the bandits had to eat wild vegetables and tree bark and roots. It was miserable to be a bandit. Some bandits ran back to the consortium's factory to work. It was only the year before last that the Qing family set their sights on this place, and their situation improved. At first, they only transported food here to ensure that they would not starve to death and would not disperse. Then, last year, they began to secretly send weapons here. This is a gradual process. Of course, the bandits didn't know that it was the Qing family that funded them, and they didn't care who it was. What they cared about was how long this support would last. Everyone knew that the person who sent them arms had other purposes. I'm afraid he wanted to make the River Valley area chaotic first, so that it would be easier to integrate. But what does it matter if you know the other party's purpose? At least you have to survive. If you are recruited by then, it seems not bad, and you can still have a meal. Now, another brighter road is in front of you, and you can decide whether to take it or not. Jinlan whispered, "It's useless to tell me about this. You have to tell those two masters." Okay, the bandit hesitated for a long time, and finally went to find Ren Xiaosu. Ren Xiaosu is talking to Yang Xiaojin about the results at this time. I don't know if they have heard of Lao Su's ability. What if they don't know the goods? In fact, Ren Xiaosu was just playing a casual chess game. Thinking that Su Xianchu is now famous, he used Su Xianchu's signature ability Shadow. Maybe someone would associate it with Su Xianchu, so that their identity as members of the 178 barrier would be more real. But what Ren Xiaosu was worried about was what if this group of bandits had never heard of Su Xianchu? Yang Xiaojin glanced at him and said, "Aren't you afraid of messing up?" "At worst, I can go back," Ren Xiaosu said nonchalantly. As he was talking, the bandit came over. Ren Xiaosu looked at him calmly. "What's the matter?" "Boss," the bandit hesitated and said, "Can you let me go home?" Ren Xiaosu raised his eyebrows. "Do you think you can still take sick leave? Go home? Who allowed you to go home?" "Don't you listen to me," the bandit explained. "I want to call all the brothers over." Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment. He looked at Yang Xiaojin. This is the trick worked. It seems that this group of people are quite knowledgeable? Exclamation mark. He thought about it and said, "What do you know?" The bandit hurriedly shook his head in panic. "I don't know anything, really. I didn't know you came from the 178th barrier." "Go away." Ren Xiaosu was at a loss whether to laugh or cry. "Give you 1 day." Okay, thank you." The bandit was grateful, as if this was an opportunity given to him by Ren Xiaosu. Thanks from Zhang Yihan, +1. After that, Zhang Yihan rode away alone on his motorcycle. Ren Xiaosu was not afraid that he would not come back. Even if he did not come back, it would only be the loss of one person. Ren Xiaosu didn't care. He turned to Yang Xiaojin and said, "My method should work." Originally, Ren Xiaosu was most worried that he could indeed use the method of fishing enforcement to round up these bandits, but after forcibly suppressing and rounding up, hundreds or thousands of bandits gathered together, and he could not control them. Therefore, Ren Xiaosu finally breathed a sigh of relief now. Yang Xiaojun sat on the mount and quietly supported her chin with her hand. She looked at Ren Xiaosu with a smile. Who would have thought that just asking Ren Xiaosu to suppress a few bandits would actually be played with so many tricks by the other party? To be honest, Yang Xiaojun didn't care whether the bandit suppression could be successful or not. What did this have to do with her? She just didn't want to quarrel with Yang Yuan over this matter. Yang Xiaojun could have been a rich and idle person in the fortress, but she didn't like it there. She would rather lie in the wilderness for 3 days and 3 nights, and she felt that it was better than staying in the fortress. And now, she wanted to see what else Ren Xiaosu could do. Ren Xiaosu looked at Yang Xiaojun. I feel more and more that the chaos in the river valley here must have been caused by the Qing family, and they have been planning since last year. Yang Xiaojun tilted her head. Yes, the Qing family is planning here, and they must be plotting against the Zhong family and your Yang family, but the Qing family should not have absolute say here. We have heard before that there are 3 forces entangled in the north. Maybe one of them is from the Zhong family who is blocking the Qing family's plan, Ren Xiaosu said, but if the Qing family wins, there will be no bandits here, only Qing's puppets. Qing Zhen is not easy to deal with. Aren't you worried? No worries, Yang Xiaojun said calmly. Are you blaming the Yang family for using you as a pawn? Ren Xiaosu asked curiously. No resentment, no closeness. Yang Xiaojun changed the subject and said, what do you want to do next? I feel that you are very interested in this river valley area. Ren Xiaosu thought for a while and suddenly smiled. Maybe one day you will come here to settle down permanently. You want to leave the barrier? Because of Yan Linwen? I can feel his rejection of the barrier, Yang Xiaojun asked. It's because of Linwen. I don't want to wrong him. Ren Xiaosu glanced at the sky, but it's not just him. Even I don't like the barrier. I feel more comfortable here. So you want to gain a foothold here, right? Yang Xiaojun thought for a while and said, but it's not an easy thing. It's just the beginning now, and it will take a long time in the future. Ren Xiaosu suddenly asked, will you come to help me? The clouds rolled up and down in the blue sky, and the yellow land of the wasteland was quiet. The refugees had just finished digging the canal and were ready to go home. Even the wind stopped. Ren Xiaosu asked casually. Yang Xiaojun was stunned for a moment. She chuckled and stood up and walked towards the settlement. It depends on my mood. At night, the roar of motorcycles came from the distance of the wasteland, and it seemed that there were quite a lot of them. Ren Xiaosu watched from a distance, and Jin Lan ran to his side. Brother, do you want to grab some weapons? What if these grandsons have bad intentions? Ren Xiaosu turned around and saw that Yang Xiaojun had walked to the hidden high slope and occupied the commanding heights. He smiled and said, don't worry, nothing will happen. Don't mention him, just these bandits who are like chickens and dogs. Yang Xiaojun alone can scare them. At this time, Ren Xiaosu suddenly recalled that he once found a sniper on the lee side who killed the entire remnant of the Shenji camp. This should also be done by Yang Xiaojun. Chapter 346. Is it warm in the tent? Ren Xiaosu stood there, watching the group of bandits coming. The leader was Zhang Yihan, whom he had let go today. Zhang Yihan shouted from a distance, brother, don't shoot, it's me. Yang Xiaojun lay on the mound, carefully observing the subtle movements of these people with a scope, so as to prevent anyone from secretly shooting and plotting against Ren Xiaosu. However, she found that this group of people were indeed not aggressive. They all had their guns across their chests, and they didn't even have the safety on. Moreover, this group of people really came to seek refuge. Not only did they bring all the guns and ammunition in the mountain village, but they also carried their tattered bedding rolls on their backs. These bandits looked quite fierce. They rode muscular motorcycles, but on their backs were tattered quilts tied to their bodies. This scene was as weird as it could be. They really planned to live here for a long time, Yang Xiaojun sighed. They came here to suppress bandits, but how did they suddenly become bandit leaders? Even if Yang Xiaojun, who witnessed the whole process, recalled it, she still couldn't figure out the mental journey. Zhang Yihan came to Ren Xiaosu, jumped out of the car immediately and said respectfully, brother, I brought all the brothers here, and we will all listen to your orders from now on. The brothers behind Zhang Yihan were secretly looking at Ren Xiaosu. It turned out that this was the master of the 178th barrier that the elder brother mentioned. He looked so young. Wait, didn't they say there was a sniper? At this time, everyone realized that the sniper might be aiming at them. Thinking of this, everyone was a little nervous. fearing that any unusual movement on their part would cause the other party to shoot and kill them by mistake. Ren Xiaosu felt a little awkward when a man in his 30s called him elder brother, but now was not the time to worry about the name. Jin Lan, settle the brothers, and I will hold a meeting for you tomorrow. The refugees who originally lived here watched this scene with a smile, and the children were still wandering around their parents. At first, the refugees were quite afraid of these bandits, but then they thought, wouldn't the bandits have to repair the canal with them? They don't even dare to be lazy. Thinking of this, the refugees gradually accepted this fact. Moreover, Ren Xiaosu told them at night that since the army and horses here are strong, they don't need to fight with guns if they want to farm. Naturally, the bandits will be responsible for the battle. When sleeping at night, Ren Xiaosu lay outside the tent with his arm as a pillow. He said to Yang Xiaojin in the tent, I always feel that something is missing. Just using this identity to fool them, although you can let them stay here, but there is no fighting power. Yang Xiaojin in the tent was not asleep either. When Ren Xiaosu set out, Sister Xiaoi prepared such a tent for him. At first, it was useless because he pretended to be a refugee. Now that he deliberately exposed his identity, there was no need to hide it. No more pretending, just show your cards. But according to Sister Xiaoi's idea, this must be Ren Xiaosu's opportunity, but at this time, Ren Xiaosu was weak instead. He took the initiative to sleep outside the tent and even made a bonfire. Yang Xiaojin said, you want them to be able to fight. Yes, Ren Xiaosu said, you have seen the level of these bandits. If they really fight with others, they probably won't know how to use guns. And if there are casualties, they will probably run away. How do the army usually train soldiers? Under normal circumstances, the army with a weaker level will be scattered if 20 to 40% of the casualties occur. Only those with faith can continue to persevere, Yang Xiaojin said. Training soldiers in the army basically starts from two aspects. One is to train military skills, and the other is to do ideological work, so that they will have the spirit of not fearing death or difficulties. These two aspects cannot be achieved overnight. We have to do it even if we can't do it, Ren Xiaosu said with a smile. Okay, I'll teach them guns, Yang Xiaojin said. Let them unite first in terms of ideological work, Ren Xiaosu asked, is there any way? Suffer together and keep suffering until they can have fun together, Yang Xiaojin said. Ren Xiaosu understood what Yang Xiaojin meant. It is easy to be a friend in times of adversity. When you become rich, you will be greedy. Is it warm in the tent? Ren Xiaosu suddenly asked. Yang Xiaojin said calmly, why don't you come in and see if it's warm? Ha, Ren Xiaosu said awkwardly, I'm just asking. Ren Xiaosu was the first to back off. The next morning, Ren Xiaosu woke up all the people who were sleeping soundly. The bandits were sleeping soundly and were suddenly woken up. They were about to lose their temper, but when they saw that it was Ren Xiaosu, they immediately stopped. Ren Xiaosu called them together and said, have any of you ever burned a brick kiln? The bandits looked at each other. Why is this big brother different from the big brothers in other mountains? The big brothers in other mountains should at least say something decent when they take in new brothers, such as follow me to eat delicious food and drink spicy drinks, such as make me bigger and stronger. But when it came to Ren Xiaosu, he first dug a canal and then built a brick kiln. Someone raised his hand and whispered, I worked in the Zhuang family's brick factory. Do you know how to build a brick kiln? Ren Xiaosu asked. Our conditions are simple, but we can build a simple one. A few bricks are no problem, the bandit said, but we don't have enough firewood here. We can't just use shrubs. Yang Xiaojin suddenly said, the spring flood is coming soon. The melting icebergs upstream will cause floods. At that time, a large amount of wood will flow down the river. There will definitely be enough firewood. Okay, Ren Xiaosu said to Jin Lan, bring all the weapons here. Last night Ren Xiaosu asked Jin Lan to collect everyone's weapons. Now Ren Xiaosu said, I know what you are thinking, but it is not easy to get my approval. Everyone looked at each other. This was a statement made public. It seemed that it was not that easy to surrender to the 178th barrier. However, if Ren Xiaosu said that it was particularly easy to join the 178th barrier, they would not believe it. That was the 178th barrier. So the harder the test is, the more real it will feel to them. Zhang Yiheng said, you tell us where to fight. We'll fight wherever you point us. Ren Xiaosu smiled and said, I don't want bandits who can only yell and fight. I don't think highly of your fighting ability. The bandits grumbled again. The people of 178 barrier are awesome. They look down on them. Jinlan said resolutely, just tell us what we should do. We'll start burning bricks today. We're still repairing the canal. You all go to the river to dig out silt and make bricks. 10 bricks can be exchanged for 1 bullet. When you have collected 100 bullets, I'll return the guns to you. Only then will you be qualified to prove yourself. Instructor Yang beside me will teach you how to use guns. The bandits secretly smacked their lips. Is it so difficult to even qualify for the test? It's definitely not a scam. Thanks to you Mo and Ji Fenghels for becoming new allies in this book. Thanks to Bianjiren for becoming the only silver ally of this book on QQ Reading. Chapter 347, You Will Reap What You Have Paid For. The long winter in the northwest is finally coming to an end. Ren Xiaosu saw new buds sprouting from plants beside the river and insects dormant in the soil gradually waking up. The spring flood is coming. The snow-capped mountains stretching for thousands of miles in the northwest will gradually melt. The sun will turn the ice and snow into tens of thousands of streams, and then converge from west to east to become a turbulent river. Some people say that this water comes from the sky and flows eastward without stopping. The river valley area, which has been dry for many months, will get the most abundant water source in spring. This is the best time for them to irrigate their farmland. At that time, the huge river water will fill up the gullies and turn the earthy yellow valley into riverbed. Ren Xiaosu will lead the bandits to make enough bricks before the spring flood arrives. Once the spring flood arrives with trees from upstream, they can start kill. And not only houses need to be built, but also fortifications. A refugee asked if a new barrier should be built. Ren Xiaosu was stunned for a moment, then he smiled and said that it was fine in the wilderness. Why should we round everyone up? After hearing this, the refugees were silent, but they worked harder. The bandits put down their guns, and dug mud barefoot on the edge of the river valley, digging up baskets of mud and making bricks on the ground. Digging mud seems easy to think about, but it is difficult to do. The bandits brought only guns, not even a shovel, so they had to dig mud with their hands. The weather was cold, and the fierce bandits were frozen like grandsons, but they still insisted on working. Will they give up if you force them like this? Yang Xiaojun asked. No, Ren Xiaosu smiled and said, the more tired they are, the more they believe that all this is true, and the more relaxed they are, the more they will suspect that all this is false. Then they will find out one day in the future, Yang Xiaojun said. Ren Xiaosu turned to Yang Xiaojun and said seriously, I want to build a home here. This idea was not so clear before, but when I saw them working, this idea gradually became clear. I will give them an explanation when the time comes. And this is also the first step for Ren Xiaosu to train these bandits. He must first change the habits of these bandits who are used to eating and being lazy and robbing houses. Let them suffer here, and then establish a strange feeling called sharing hardships. After a tiring day, the bandits complained one by one, and even Jinlan began to waver. He looked at the mud on his hands and feet and was almost crying from exhaustion. Why don't we go back to being bandits and not go to the 178th fortress? It's too hard. Yes, someone sat weakly on the riverbed, looking up at the sky in a daze. What are we trying to do? Jinlan and Zhang Yan are now the captains of the first team and the second team respectively. Some people saw that the captains began to waver, and they were even more shaken. At noon, some refugees from the settlement suddenly came over with baskets. They put the baskets on the ground. Jinlan asked curiously, Countryman, what's this? An honest refugee smiled embarrassedly and said, You helped us dig the canal before, and I never had the chance to thank you. This is the steamed bread I made myself. It doesn't taste good, so please don't dislike it. Jinlan was stunned for a moment. He didn't know how to deal with such a situation for a moment. When the words came to his lips, he suddenly cursed, Why are you being so polite? You don't have to be polite to me. Just put it there. If you need help with the work, just let me know. Jinlan had an expression that said, I'm not here to help you, I just want to work, which stunned the refugee. At this time, someone asked Jinlan, Captain, let's run tonight. As a result, Jinlan hesitated and said, Hold on for 2 more days to see the situation. It's not too late to run after 2 days. Look, the villagers have sent us steamed bread, let's at least build a house for them. When they got off work that night, Everyone lay on the ground and didn't want to move. Ren Xiaosu came to the river and looked at the bricks sandwiched between the wooden boards. Get up, come and get the bullets. Each person only recognizes the bricks they made. 10 yuan for one. People are strange. Obviously, these bullets were originally theirs, and bullets are not valuable. They don't think much of them when they are working, but when they find out that they can exchange them, they are still a little happy. Jin Lan stood up and said, "Me. I made 30 bricks today. The silt is too difficult to dig, otherwise I can make more." Ren Xiaosu nodded, "Well, I'll give you 3 bullets." Jin Lan looked at the 3 yellow bullets in his palm, and he actually felt a sense of inexplicable emotion and accomplishment in his heart. But these are obviously 3 ordinary bullets. What's going on? This was the solution Ren Xiaosu had come up with. If they just worked hard, these bandits would be frustrated because they could not see any progress or end. But when he broke down the process into 100 bullets and allowed these bandits to measure their own results, they had a goal to look forward to. Jin Lan began to calculate at this moment. He could get 3 bullets a day. When he became proficient, he might be able to get 4 or even 5 bullets a day. In less than a month, he could be out of the sea of suffering. How long is a month? Thinking of this, Jin Lan suddenly felt that he could hold on a little longer. At most, he could leave after a month, which didn't waste much time. At this time, he looked at the others and laughed when he saw that Zhang Yihan only had 2 bullets in his hand. "You old man, you are not good enough. Why only 2 bullets?" Zhang Yihan was so angry that his face turned red. "I am not proficient. I will definitely have more than you tomorrow." Then Zhang Yihan looked at the people next to him and saw that there were people who didn't have bullets in their hands. He was also happy. "I am not the worst." Ren Xiaosu didn't say anything. He didn't criticize those who worked less, nor did he praise those who worked more. Jin Lan smiled and came up to him. "Brother, how do you think I am? I have done the most work today." Ren Xiaosu said non-committally, "You have to understand that I gave you this opportunity because you wanted to pass the assessment, not because I was doing anything for me." After that, Ren Xiaosu turned and left. Jin Lan stayed behind Ren Xiaosu for a long time before saying in a daze, "Thank you, brother, for giving us this opportunity." "Thanks from Jin Lan, +1. Suddenly, Jin Lan turned around and shouted, "It's not dark yet, you guys should retreat first, I'll work for a while." The bandits looked at each other. They were tired all day and suddenly they had a little motivation again, but Yang Xiaojun came at this time. "Don't work anymore, wash your hands and get ready for class." Chapter 348 Strict Discipline. Doing heavy work for a day is the limit for an adult. Ren Xiaosu didn't want to exploit their labor, so he didn't intend to really tire them out. He just wanted to make these people so tired that they didn't have the energy to think about their own little calculations and then accept something new. At this time, some bandits will definitely be slowly changed, but there are still some stubborn ones who will still look at everything with doubts. It's just because of the fantasy of the 178 barrier that they decided to wait and see. Ren Xiaosu didn't think he could control everyone. He was not a god. But he was not in a hurry, because he still had time. Yang Xiaojun didn't give them a firearms class in the evening. Jin Lan and other bandits who changed their jobs halfway wanted to take the firearms class the most, and Yang Xiaojun had already shown his powerful marksmanship when he beat them, so everyone was very happy when Yang Xiaojun notified them to take the class. But Yang Xiaojun said to them, "Let me tell you about the 5 disciplines of our team. Everyone must memorize them, and not a single word is wrong." Jin Lan got anxious when he heard this. Why do they have to memorize the disciplines? What he feared most when he was in the town school was memorizing. Why do they have to memorize now that they are bandits? Jin Lan asked. "That, sister-in-law." When Yang Xiaojun heard this, she raised her eyebrows when she heard this address, but she didn't say anything after all. "What's wrong? Did it Big Brother say he would teach us firearms lessons?" Jin Lan said anxiously. "Why do we have to memorize the stupid disciplines?" Yang Xiaojun sneered. "Do you have guns now? How can you learn firearms lessons?" The bandits were awe-stunned. It turned out that they were qualified to take the firearms lessons only after they had accumulated enough bullets and got the guns. Jin Lan touched the 3 bullets in his pocket bitterly, thinking that it would take more than 20 days to learn it. At this time, Yang Xiaojun suddenly said, "Anyone who has a gun can take the class. I don't know if there are any suitable snipers among you." Jin Lan's eyes lit up when he heard this. "Can you teach sniper rifles?" Yang Xiaojun said calmly, Don't be happy in a hurry. Snipers are born. Among the more than 200 of you, at most 2 or 3 people can become snipers, so don't hold out any hope. Yang Xiaojun deliberately gave them this hope, and then seemed to want to personally extinguish their thoughts. But how could this ideal be extinguished? When Jinlan heard it, it turned out that there were 2 or 3 people among them who could become snipers. Maybe it would be him? Before hitting the iron plate of reality, everyone would hope that he would be the lucky one. That's a sniper, and thinking about it would be a little exciting. Men all love guns, because guns represent strength, security, and power in their eyes. And sniper rifles are the pinnacle representative of gun power. Yang Xiaojun glanced at them and said, "It's too early to be happy now. Everyone, memorize the discipline well, otherwise no one can touch the gun." Jinlan whispered, "Sister-in-law, can you let me see your sniper rifle? I haven't had the chance to see it up close before." Yang Xiaojun glanced at him and materialized the sniper rifle. Jinlan and others took a breath of cold air. The couple were actually extraordinary. Originally, they thought Yang Xiaojun was just a sniper, but they didn't expect that Yang Xiaojun could even materialize the sniper rifle. No wonder they didn't see where she hid the gun. Yang Xiaojun took the sniper rifle back and said, "Now I will tell you what discipline is. The first is to obey orders and obey orders." After saying it several times, these pig-brained bandits couldn't remember it. Yang Xiaojun asked Jinlan to use a branch to write the 5 disciplines on the ground. They didn't need to understand them, just memorize them. When the group of people started to recite, Yang Xiaojun walked to Ren Xiaosu not far away and said, "It's embarrassing for them." Ren Xiaosu laughed happily and said, "There is no army without discipline. This is the inevitable road. There is nothing we can do about it." Yang Xiaojun said calmly, "Are you really not afraid of breaking them up?" "What am I afraid of?" Ren Xiaosu said with a smile, "Since ancient times, strict teachers have produced excellent students, sticks have produced filial sons, and sharpening has produced iron armies. You think that letting them suffer too much may make them fall apart, but I think these hardships will bind them tightly together." What is discipline for the army? Discipline is the code of conduct of the army, the external manifestation of combat effectiveness, the spiritual belief of the army, and the image and honor of an army. This is not useless. On the contrary, Ren Xiaosu believes that there is no army without discipline. He can't forget the sloppy appearance of the private army when he first met it, and he can't forget the shock of the king's army when he first met it, which was like a chariot. Discipline is the first step in ideological work, and then we can slowly talk about things like sense of belonging and honor. But some of these bandits didn't even know how to read, and they couldn't understand the rules clearly written on the ground. This made Jinlan very anxious. "I tell you, Yan Liu, you have to memorize it even if you can't. Don't embarrass our team. I'm still waiting to learn how to use a sniper rifle." Yang Xiaojun told them before that if one person didn't memorize it, the others couldn't learn how to use a gun. This was specifically instructed by Ren Xiaosu, and Ren Xiaosu hoped that they could learn a little bit of unity in the process of helping others. It was also the first time for him to play the role of an instructor, and everything was learned by trial and error, but it would be good if these bandits could learn even a little bit. Ren Xiaosu turned to Yang Xiaojun and smiled. "What do you think of my methods?" Yang Xiaojun's lips curled up slightly. "Not bad." She felt that this place was becoming more and more interesting, and at one point, she suddenly began to look forward to the day when there would be brick houses everywhere, acres of fields, groups of children, and laughter. But in this chaotic world, is it really possible? I can work with the Yang family to keep the settlement, but if it is really the Qing family that is integrating the river valley area, what should they do if they find this place? Yang Xiaojun suddenly asked. How could the bandits confront the power of the consortium head-on? The reason why the bandits can survive in the river valley area is because they are flexible. To put it bluntly, they are good at escaping. But once a fixed settlement is established here, they can't run away. As long as they run away, all the previous efforts will be in vain. Ren Xiaosu smiled and said, "It's okay. Qingzhen and Luolan owe me a big favor." Whether it was saving Luolan or helping the Qing family to gain a position before, it was all a favor. So when Ren Xiaosu guessed that it was the Qing family who was doing it a few days ago, he was no longer panicked. After all, they had cooperated with the Qing family so many times. That's fine, Yang Xiaojun nodded. She did not object to Ren Xiaosu being friends with Qingzhen and Luolan, and she would not ask Ren Xiaosu to help her find the Qing family's nuclear test base. This was her own business, the thug's business, and had nothing to do with Ren Xiaosu. There was no need to impose such a responsibility on Ren Xiaosu. Chapter 349. What are you pretending to be? In the first 2 days of digging mud to make bricks, everyone was talking about whether we should run away, whether we should go back to be bandits, or whether we should rebel. As a result, on the third day, the question everyone was discussing suddenly changed. How many bullets do you have? 10. Jin Lan said, I feel that I will definitely be able to get a gun in less than a month. They obviously already had guns, but they had to work here to be qualified to get guns again. It sounds very absurd, but everyone suddenly enjoyed it. Whether or not to get a gun suddenly seemed to have become an honor. At first, there were many lazy people, all pretending not to work. When others were working, they lay on the riverbed to sleep in the sun, or watched others work. But on the third day, it was a little different. Those who had not worked before felt a little embarrassed. When others were resting, they were still working, just to make up for the progress they had fallen behind in the previous 2 days. Otherwise, when others had guns, they would be left with empty hands, which would be too embarrassing. Moreover, Yang Xiaojun said that if one person is missing and the task is not completed, the class cannot be taught. This made Jin Lan wonder. He and Zhang Yiheng are now each in charge of more than 100 people. They know clearly who is progressing fast and who is slow. Jin Lan and Zhang Yiheng discussed it and found that some people were indeed a little behind, so Jin Lan took the lead in holding a small meeting. It's like this. Our goal is to collect 100 bullets and get a gun as soon as possible, but some people are lagging behind. If they are still lazy, I won't care about them, but you can see that they are also very anxious. So, as the captain, I will donate a bullet to them. After that, Zhang Yiheng also said to the second team, I will also donate a bullet that I earned. The bandits looked at each other and waited for a long time before someone hesitated and said, then I will donate one, but I have to pay it back to me in advance. After a while, a large group of people donated 5 or 6 bullets. Although there was still a gap, it was considered to have narrowed a gap. Jin Lan nodded with satisfaction. We brothers are all great, keep working. Ren Xiaosu watched from a distance, and suddenly said to Yang Xiaojun beside him, I once saw a book in the library of 88 barriers. It was hidden in a corner. It was called The Crowd. There is a sentence in this book that says that when a person is in a group, his IQ is seriously reduced. In order to gain recognition, individuals are willing to abandon right and wrong and use their IQ in exchange for a sense of belonging that makes people feel safe. Ren Xiaosu continued, maybe this is why it is easy to be brainwashed when in a group. Yang Xiaojun said calmly, you mean, this is the situation they are in now? Ren Xiaosu shook his head, I prefer to believe that this is the power of hope. When a group has a common goal, these bandits who share the same suffering are also looking for ways to achieve that goal as soon as possible. And friendship is born at this time. Jin Lan and others were working, and he suddenly found 2 new people next to him. Looking closely, it turned out to be Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun. But Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun took off their shoes and rolled up their sleeves. Jin Lan and Zhang Yiheng hurriedly said, you two don't have to work. Take a rest. We'll do the work. Ren Xiaosu smiled and said, it's okay. We are not spoiled people. The bricks we made can be divided equally between your 2 teams. Your captain can distribute them to the team members. The bandits were stunned for a long time. They never thought that Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun would work with him. Shouldn't these big shots rest in the back? When they were in the factory, the foreman didn't do any work. When they went to the coal mine, the foreman sat outside to rest and supervise. And the 2 in front of them are much more powerful than the foreman. They are both extraordinary people. Especially Yang Xiaojun, who is a woman. Even women work with him. This sister-in-law is really a little different. Ren Xiaosu's face darkened. Why are you still standing there? Are you being lazy? Jin Lan was happy. No, brothers, keep working. The bandits worked silently. The work was still the same. The goal was still the same. But when Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojun jumped into the ditch, it seemed that there was something more. A little more human touch? At this moment, there was a noisy smoke and dust outside. Ren Xiaosu was too familiar with the scene. There were new bandits coming. According to Yang Xiaojun's estimation, there should be more than 3,000 bandits in the entire Guangshan, Tengwangshan, and Dabanshan line, and they have only gathered more than 200 now, which is still far from enough. Although they knew that the more north there were, the more bandits there were, and they were located in the south, where there were fewer bandits. But Ren Xiaosu is still a little disappointed that no new bandits came yesterday. There were about 30 new bandits. They saw a large group of people working here from a distance, and they were ecstatic. There were so many refugees in this settlement, they made a fortune. From a distance, Jin Lan, Zhang Yan, Ren Xiaosu and their arms and legs were covered in mud and water, and they didn't even have guns in their hands. What else could they be but refugees? And in this wilderness, refugees are the most obedient, just like livestock that can be captured. However, when they came to the front, the bandit leader suddenly felt something was wrong. He saw that Ren Xiaosu and others all stood up straight and looked at them calmly. The bandit leader suddenly muttered, "Why do I feel that they are not afraid of us at all?" At this time, Jin Lan sighed and said, "Fuck, there are new people joining again. They haven't even started to save a bullet yet." In his heart, Jin Lan already knew the fate of these foreign bandits. He just felt a little sorry for himself. The bandit stopped his motorcycle beside the ditch and pointed his gun at Ren Xiaosu. "Get ashore, haha, you are still in the mood to make bricks, who allowed you to make bricks?" Jin Lan and Zhang Yihan looked at each other, and then at the same time began to mourn for the new bandit leader. Half an hour later, the bandit leader with a swollen face and nose rolled up his sleeves in the ditch. He asked Jin Lan with swollen eyes, "How many bricks do we have to make every day?" Jin Lan said unhappily, "You people are delaying our important matters, you know? I tell you, if you don't make 30 bricks today, don't even think about sleeping." At this time, the bandit leader glanced at Zhang Yang next to him. "Wait, I know you, aren't you the big bandit leader on the west slope of Daba Mountain? Why are you here?" Zhang Yang also said unhappily, "Dig your sealed, stop talking nonsense." The new bandit leader felt too aggrieved. "Aren't you all bandits? Why are you pretending to be refugees here? If I had known there were so many bandits here, I wouldn't have come." Chapter 350, Building Houses for the Villagers. The new bandits were completely confused. They watched Jin Lan and the others happily digging mud in the river, and then used the mud to make bricks, and then exchanged the number of bricks for bullets. 10 bricks were only exchanged for 1 bullet. When they saw this, they didn't think anything of it, but the moment Jin Lan and Zhang Yihan got a bullet, their faces were filled with happy smiles. "Aren't you all bandit leaders? Why are you so happy to get a bullet? Have you never seen the world?" Seeing this group of people digging the river wider and wider, originally the riverbed was just a ditch formed after a small river was diverted, but now the river is getting wider and wider, and it looks like it will become a big river. Originally, the refugees were worried that when the spring flood came, the riverbed would rise and the canal would burst, which would definitely affect the crops. But now they are not worried at all. The spring flood is nothing to be afraid of. In the river, Jin Lan and others have pockets full of bullets, and the bullets are rattling in their pockets. The new bandits are frightened by this weird scene. Are these people under a spell? After Jin Lan finished her work, she called the new bandits together and told them what to do, what they can exchange for bricks, and what long-term plans they have for the future. For example, they plan to build 10 small houses after the spring flood, and by summer. The bandits listened blankly, thinking, are they still bandits? Then Jin Lan talked about the highlight. "Do you know who is in charge of this place? You think you are unlucky to be caught, but I tell you, it is lucky." While speaking, Jin Lan chattered non-stop, and the group of bandits looked at Jin Lan, then at Ren Xiaosu and Yang Xiaojin, their eyes gradually confused. At this time, Ren Xiaosu didn't need to do anything. Jin Lan and Zhang Yihan could handle everything for him. He and Yang Xiaojin only needed to take action at the beginning to reduce casualties. Bandits came one after another, and then joined the brick-making army. They dug mud to make bricks during the day and memorized discipline at night. Their lives were extremely fulfilling. The spring flood arrived as expected. Everyone could feel that the water flow in the ditch was getting stronger and stronger. Fish could often be caught. Now the fish would bite everyone. If they were not so many, it would be difficult to deal with them. More and more firewood was accumulated on the shore to dry, and there were also whole tree trunks that were broken by the upstream flood. The thin ones were used as firewood, and the thick ones were kept as beams in the future. The refugees in the settlement also helped them build some temporary earth houses and 2 small brick kilns. The bandits helped the refugees dig canals and rivers, and the refugees returned the favor and helped a little. At this time, the refugees were no longer afraid of the bandits. Everyone was like the villagers in a small village. A refugee found Ren Xiaosu and said, "Brother, let's start burning bricks, Otherwise when the first rain comes, the bricks we made before will be ruined. Okay. Ren Xiaosu agreed. At this time, a large area of bricks had been laid out, which seemed to be enough to build more than 10 houses. Brick burning is not a particularly difficult technical job. Just put the bricks in the kiln, close the kiln door, and wait for firewood to be added. The bandit who knows how to add water to cool it in the middle will naturally do it. Bricks are divided into red bricks and blue bricks. The silt clay contains iron. After complete oxidation during the firing process, it forms ferric oxide, which is red bricks. If the iron is not completely oxidized during the firing process, it is blue bricks. The brick kiln built by Ren Xiaosu and his men has a kiln roof, which is not permeable to oxygen, so the bricks fired are blue bricks. How many days does it take to burn these bricks? Ren Xiaosu, a bandit who has burned bricks before, asked. Our kiln is small, and we only fire more than 20,000 bricks at a time. It will probably take about 10 days to finish the firing. However, we need to add water to cool down the bricks, which will take another 2 days, the bandit explained. It will take nearly 2,000 bricks to build a house of more than 20 square meters. This kiln is enough for more than 10 houses. The bandits were excited to think that they would soon live in brick houses. After all, most people here have never lived in a brick house in their lives. In the market town, brick houses are a symbol of status. Okay, Ren Xiaosu said to the refugees in the settlement, you can send some people to guard it. When the bricks are fired, we can build a few houses for you. Jin Lan muttered in a low voice, why should we fire bricks and build houses for them? Ren Xiaosu glanced at him and said, stop talking nonsense. Jin Lan ran away with his head down. He called on his brothers to get more bricks before the rainy season comes. Now there are more than 400 bandits on their side, and they work very fast. But after just a few days of work, the sky turned cloudy, which made Jin Lan and Zhang Yang very distressed. Hurry up, come with me to rescue the bricks, and carry all the dried bricks to the adobe house. When the rescue was about halfway done, the drizzle covered the entire wasteland like fine cotton cloth. Bad luck, Jin Lan said while hiding under the eaves. Why did it have to rain at this time? Captain, can we go inside to avoid the rain? A bandit muttered in a low voice. At this time, the house was full of bricks, and there was no place for anyone to stand. Jin Lan glared at him when he heard this. You went in to avoid the rain. Where are the bricks? These are the bricks that everyone worked so hard to press out. Can we waste them? The bandits pursed their lips. People are not as good as bricks now. A large group of people squatted outside a pile of earthen houses in the rain, guarding the bricks inside. Jin Lan muttered, brother is still building houses for those refugees. I don't know what he's doing. We brothers don't even have enough places to live. What's the matter, Captain? Are you blaming brother? Someone whispered. I'm not complaining. Jin Lan curled her lips. I can see that those two are indeed different from the big guys in the fortress. Those big guys look down on us from the bottom of their hearts, but these two are different. Have you ever seen any big guy from a consortium who can dig mud in the ditch like us? I admire these two people from the bottom of my heart, just because they are willing to work with us. What do you mean, Captain? I just think it's not worth it. Why can those refugees live in the house without pressing a single brick? Jin Lan cursed. The brick kiln was built by others, someone whispered. Jin Lan glared at him. You are the only one who talks too much? However, at this moment, many refugees came over in the rain, and they shouted at Jin Lan, don't get wet here, come to our house to take shelter. We have discussed it, you can take shelter from the rain at any house you want, there is definitely enough space. There is some hot soup at home, you can drink it to warm your body. Jin Lan was stunned for a moment, then hurriedly said, okay, I'll be right there. A bandit next to him whispered, Captain, aren't we still angry about building houses? Who said I'm angry? Jin Lan stiffened his neck. The villagers are so good to us, what's wrong with building a few houses for them? We must have the same vision as the eldest brother, you know, be more generous. Build houses for the villagers when the rain stops. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.